especially in a playoff format. The energy, the excitement, it's really getting to me. I'm starting to get a little bit nervous, especially seeing a team already get to TI in the first series of the day. I can feel my heart pounding, and I care a lot about this. I want to be doing this job for a very long time. So I decided to actually reach out and get a hosting coach. And yes, so on Discord right now, I've called in my coach right now, and she's going to be guiding me through everything.
Nice.
And I'm joined right now by Cinderin and Lacoste.
Thank you.
Lacoste, how are you?
I'm good. I'm really great after the first series. Nice showing from T1. Hyped to see people playing on LAN, same room.
Cinderin, how are you feeling after that first game?
I'm feeling good. Love your hosting. You're just a natural.
About the teams.
What do you think about the teams, Sind?
Which teams?
Ask about Alliance first.
Alliance?
Oh, Alliance. Why did you say the teams if you only wanted to ask about one team?
Ask him why he's testing you. Why is he testing you?
Why are you testing me?
I'm not testing you. I'm just pulling your leg, Rich. Alliance.
Balance an egg on your head.
I don't know. We haven't seen them play yet, right? It's one of the 6 teams that came in directly. Obviously from the EU region. They looked solid in the qualifiers. I don't know. I think people have different expectations for this team going into this. Like, some think they're going to look like one of the weaker teams in the playoffs. Others are like, just wait until you see Alliance roll. I genuinely have no clue.
Allow Lacoste.
Because that's how it is, right? We haven't seen them play. We've seen some of the other teams. In the last series, a lot of people were like, okay, Astra's going to come in swinging. And they didn't. So, like, who knows? It genuinely is just... I know a lot more after the first series, but right now we have basically nothing to go on with Alliance.
Yeah, these at least Alliance didn't play in a month or so. You don't have any info how they're going to play. For PSG LGD, you know what they're doing. You know that they're swapping things around, having like Axe on the safe lane, Dragon Knight that they're playing a different, even Doom on the safe lane. While Alliance, they've been playing pretty standard carries. So I want to see if they also shifted things around a bit.
Now go for the easy one. Ask for the expectations of score.
What are your expectations of score going into this series?
A great question. Excellent question, Rich.
Excellent.
Excellent, huh? Nice. Either the score, hard to say. Like, I also want to see. I'm favoring LGD because I've been working the Chinese region and they looked pretty dominant, but Alliance has this surprise factor in this one.
Right. I think based on what we saw in the groups, LGD has to be one of the favorites to even win the tournament, or at least get top 3.
Yep.
And again, just based on the uncertainty factor of Alliance and what we've seen from the average rest of the field, I feel like you have to favor PSG LGD until you see Alliance play here. But like you said, I do feel like Alliance's best chance is to come in with something new, right? PSG LGD has played a lot of games now. They have experience against the meta, obviously. But Alliance is a team in the past that has not been afraid of having different ideas of certain heroes they want to play, certain metas. So I'm curious. I hope Alliance doesn't just play the same as everyone else. Now we're making it sound like there's just one playstyle, which isn't the case. But there's like some things that are relatively defined.
You're doing a great job.
Just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, you guys are doing a great job, and I do want to say this has gotten my confidence back so quickly. I want to say thank you to my coach for carrying me through this, but I think now I can grab the wheel and get started with the series. You guys bring up a lot of really good points about these teams.
Yeah, but before we go on, I just want to ask you, what type of cat are you, Rich?
Oh, wow. That's a really good question. I tried to make it blatantly apparent that I'm a tiger, but I'm a little bit worried that OG may still call me a cheetah.
I don't know what to say. Cinderin, we need the analyst coach as well to jump in, tell us what we need to say in this type of situation.
No, you just laugh.
Just laugh?
Yeah, it's fine.
That's
a really good joke.
I gotta say, I am so happy to be here, and the games have just made me so much happier. You start off in the wild card. I think we have some of the best storylines that we could have possibly have. We get to groups once again. We start having these incredible storylines, and now we're here today. We already see one team through, and now the big question mark for me is, how good is the region of China going to look? A lot of teams are really hyping up Aster, and they got torn apart like soft bread in this first series of the day. And now we're going to have that region put to the test again against a team who looked fantastic in their last DPC season. Do you think LGD is going to pick up the slack for China?
I do. They're based on what we saw from Aster in the first series of the day. I think LGD is the best chance right now for China to get at least a top 3. I'm not going to write the other teams off from China either, though. I do think both Aster and Vici have the possibility of doing a long lower bracket run. But yeah, that's what's crazy about this stuff, right? Like, if you have a region like China where the teams are relatively close in their own DPC season, you go fast forward 1 month and suddenly the power dynamic can have changed completely going into the major, right? Aster looked great, and then I believe in the last tournament they played, they kind of got run over as well, at least in... I don't remember who it was.
Was it?
Yeah, I don't remember who it was they played against last, but definitely not as strong as they were during the DPC season. And then, you give them a couple of weeks, maybe they can pick it back up, they can come back here reinvigorated, but that first series did not inspire a lot of confidence.
Yeah, sometimes you feel that you got the beta figured out, and then you have certain teams that just are doing things on their own, like experimenting a bit, and it doesn't match well, not for you at least. So you need to come up with something different. As we already said, some of these heroes that are played on the safe lane, Alliance not playing them. I want to see if they can, pull something out of the hat, maybe see something different. We've seen different item builds. Something that I want to talk about is also like Tango on the mid lane. I don't know if you're aware of it. Going for the Echo Saber, like diffusal type of a build, or Echo Saber Basher, because it gives you enough like mana sustain. It makes you so tanky on top of the shield crash. Something that some of the players in the high level pubs have been experimenting with. So that's something that I want to see.
There's something that I want to see as well, and it's Slacks down on the main stage right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our second match of the day. We have got some big winners here for you. Very exciting to see some of these teams play for the first time in a long time, since those regional leagues. I hope you're all ready and will join us in our wonderful valley of mutilation for the Scandinavian Superstars. Let's go ahead and bring out Team Alliance!
interesting. If they dominate, that's interesting.
Yeah.
If they falter, all of them, that's also interesting. And if only one team stands out, it's like then you have a clear champion of the region, right?
Well, I feel like the thing is too is when all eyes are on one region. Usually, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like usually most of
you are wrong.
True, but usually the coaches, I would assume the coaches and the players are also going to have their eyes on the region, so it's the region that's most likely the quickest to get solved.
Sure. I mean, you can have like certain expectations coming into the tournament, thinking this team will win. It never happens. Like if you go throughout the Dota history, I know myself, I always try to make predictions for the tournament. Most of the time, you're wrong. Like there's gonna be upsets. It would be pretty boring if we had like, Team Secret, they won 5 big tournaments in a row. They're gonna win another 5. You know, it just doesn't happen. There's a lot of things in Dota that changes. Not necessarily big patches, but teams figured out how to play better, how to the beauty of Dota is where you think you know everything in a certain patch, especially during the longer patches, and then suddenly it's not even the same game. People just play it differently 3 months after.
That's just infinite depth, right?
Yeah.
Like it feels like in theory you could even have the same patch for a year, and in the last 2 months you would play completely different from 6 months.
Yes, I think great example would be Omni Knight, where he was not picked at all when Sven was popular. Garbage hero, no one wants to pick it. Suddenly, first pick material, opening up with the Sven Omni Knight every single game.
Yeah, I think what you're bringing up as well, Sind, is just it's a game where you pose different questions, you get different answers over and over again, and even if you do fall into the same meta, once all of those answers are solved, gradually it has to change over time because the answer is figured out, right? When we got here, it was all about TA. Everybody was talking about TA. What were the answers going to be for it? Now everybody's pretty confident with those answers. So is it going to shift, or are people, instead of banning it, going to lean on those answers? That's why it's so interesting.
Yeah, I remember Alliance playing Pugna against the Hellbear Smashers as a response to Templar Assassin, which is okay. You have a Decrypify, you have Life Drain, which removes all the real refraction charges almost instantly. Something that they played, I think. This year is not top tier, but possibly an option if they have no saves. Necro Alliance tends to play it from time to time, especially against these tanky heroes like Dragon Knight, Spectre. Really bad matchup for Spectre, never likes to play into it. So maybe we'll see. It's going to be definitely a very interesting matchup. The biggest part, what I love the most about Dota, is just the straight up draft. How you approach a draft and how teams understand what needs to be done, staying one step ahead. It's like playing 6D chess. You probably don't understand it, but Cinderella does.
I don't understand anything that you say. You guys are just so smart. But I also do think that one of the things, at least you are, Sind, but I think one of the things with everything that we have been talking about, when we watched the last game, Fogged was kind of talking about the idea with Chinese Dota being a little bit slower, being a little bit more focused on farm. Do you think that that's something that LGD is going to run into?
Sure, we'll see, because I remember having an interview with Cuckoo during the DPC season, and they've been screaming a lot against the Chinese teams, especially for the offlane. He said, before you wanted to move early on with your offlane, now you want to stay in the lane as long as you can, just get the most out of it, and then you become that third core, as we've seen in the previous series. So might be the thing, might be the reason why everyone wants to farm. When the first runes were introduced, both the water runes and how the bounties work, a lot of position 4s were moving around the map, trying to collect them. Now we see static, 2-1-2, not many people moving around. Maybe if you have self-sustainable offlaner, then your 4 can move, but other than that, it's just pretty static.
I feel like that's a lot of the games that I've seen where I've really enjoyed what the 4s do is when the strategy of the team is built around ensuring that the offlaner can play 1v2. And there's multiple ways of doing this, so it's part of the reason that a hero like Timbersaw is incredible in a lot of games, because you help him get level 3 and then you just leave, and suddenly you can play the rest of the map 4v3. I do think we could see something like that coming out from Alliance as well, where they try to break the lanes, because if you have such an established meta with 2-1-2, it's generally only a matter of time, unless the style is just flat out superior and there's nothing to do about it. It's generally a matter of time before teams start trying to run aggressive tri lanes, run defensive tri lanes, run a flat out roaming for You saw Nigma in some of their series were actually just leaving mind control in an island on Mars, I think 2 or 3 games so far this tournament, to start safe lane, tri lane, and just destroy, I believe it was an offlane Viper twice, to make sure that, yeah, you guys are running this strong aggressive dueling, we're going to one-up you and beat you like that.
LGD has already played a lot of Dota as well. With Alliance, what are the key things that you're going to be looking for as we get into this first game to see if they've parsed the information correctly, if they were able to watch everything in Wildcard, watch everything in groups, and quickly add it into their toolkit?
I would mainly look at Limp. I think he has some really interesting picks. Like you pointed out, the Pugna is a great example, Necrophos. These heroes that other teams haven't even played. I don't know if we've seen have we seen one?
There was one Pugna,
maybe one Pugna or something.
Yeah.
I believe 0 Necrophos picks so far in the tournament. At least I haven't seen a game with one in it. So trying to use your creativity, or if you get your hands on a hero like Timbersaw, the fact that you have a really strong mid laner on the hero, like try to play a little bit more on that surprise factor. I know I'm kind of painting it like PSG LGD are just going to be the better team and you have to out-strategize them and beat them by being clever rather than just raw skill. But I feel like that's a pretty, like based on what we've seen so far in the tournament, it's pretty likely, right?
Not to disagree with you at all either, because I pretty much always agree with you. I really do.
Yeah.
They asked me at the beginning of the tournament who I wanted on my panel.
And you said Synderen every single time.
Do you know who I asked to not have?
No, Kyle probably.
Lacoste.
No, not Lacoste. When we actually do look at a team like this, and you're talking about how it really seems like they're going to need to be answering LGD. Alliance isn't going to need to answer LGD. Do you think that could be a little bit of recency bias because we've just watched LGD so much already? We haven't watched Alliance. I think it's a psychological factor of of course we feel like you need to answer something you've already seen.
If you rewatch Alliance's game, they have a lot of strength. There's a reason why they got the first spot during the DPC Season 2. I like when they have multiple initiators in the team. Let's say there's a Limp Tiny, offlane Centaur, safe lane Wraith King who builds into Blink Dagger eventually, not necessarily as a second or third item. Also, one thing that I noticed that FNG allows to sacrifice his life quite a lot, even to secure some of the creep waves for the Shark himself. Just give him that farm. Also, Hanskin, he improved quite a lot. He's been very impressive lately on some of the position 4 heroes moving around the map. And the pick that you mentioned, something like a Timbersaw, possibly a Tidehunter, if the matchup is good, allows him to roam around the map and get stuff done.
And I really have to say, I hope we get to see a good showing from Alliance here, because I think there's a lot of doubt in the community overall what kind of team we're going to be seeing today, and I would love for them to show a good fight or even win the series. I obviously, you can definitely tell at this point that I am clearly favoring PSG LGD, but it is that uncertainty factor, right? It's like you go into a series against a team you haven't seen. This could either be amazing for Alliance, the fact that they have so much tape on LGD and PSG LGD don't really know what's coming the other way. But at the same time, just how to explain this, almost from a mathematical standpoint.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you look at
chat will love it.
If you look at this, the average performance on every team we had in the groups, right, and then you come into the playoffs, if you don't think that the jump up in quality of each team is really significant from the group stage quality that we saw, the group stage quality of Dota, then unless Alliance is at the absolute echelon of that skill range, then LGD will just be favored against anyone coming in, right?
And that was not the quickest maths, but definitely.
It's 4.
It is.
I tuned out the numbers. I just can't. I can't handle the numbers.
He didn't even use any numbers. It was just.
That was the strangest math.
Oh no, it's like math.
It's get really mathematical.
I said average. That's the mathematical term, Rich.
There we go.
Do you know what an average is?
We need to get you unschooled, man. Yeah, but
I would love to.
I wasn't actually inviting you. I'm not allowed to do that.
That's a shame.
Now Miss is going to yell at me. But I feel like, speaking of people yelling, there's obviously a lot of people doing that in Twitch chat right now. And I feel like for Alliance, there's a little bit of added pressure to just shut the haters up. They need to do it. And I think that they very much have the capability of doing it in this matchup. And this would be a huge statement to be able to take down LGD, one of the teams that has the absolute strongest. I think you've been hyping up LGD a whole bunch. Let's talk about some of the things that could cause a defeat on the side of this team. Let's look at Ame. Do you think that this player's looked more stable?
Yes, for sure. Compared
PSG LGD's
Alliance
turn.
has more
Alliance's turn to ban.
saw what PSG.
I agree. I feel like Alliance played the deep way. They had these 3 cores. They had a lot of system fights, whereas LGD a lot of variety throughout the major. So I'm really curious to see how Alliance on to LGD.
PSG LGD's turn to ban.
Talking a lot of positive stuff. You really liked him. Is that true? Or am I confused? I'm not trying to put you on the spot and trick you. I actually thought
I've been on LGD's panels mostly, so I've been very positive.
Before the tournament started.
Oh right, yeah. I was excited to see how.
Okay. So now it's your time to choose
5 seconds
because you've been talking nonstop about.
Can we wait for the draft?
No, I'm just saying this is a big moment for our girl here because before the tournament she was all on Alliance. Now.
No, I said I think China is the strong. Any team.
Did you even listen to?
I don't listen to anybody really. Every time someone starts talking, I hear the hamster
Alliance's
dance from
turn
that
to
website.
pick.
Bada-bee-ba-bada-bo-bo. Bee-ba-bee-da-bo.
DMCA.
And we've got the Snapfire!
Hey, Sapphire! Thank you. Snap's been kind of bait ban lately.
We can cover the bans first, maybe Slacks, because that's where
10
that
seconds
started.
remaining.
Timber and DK banned out. Timber is something that quite a bit.
5
While
seconds.
Dragon
5
Knight
seconds remaining.
S4 has been spamming it. Is banning it out also. Popular right now. Team Mars and Nick. On the other hand, it's China special.
And Snapfire has been quite a few times, but she hasn't been.
Alliance's turn to pick.
Maybe it's a little bit of it's our comfort zone. We also want to take this away. Lazy, they want it. Gaming, meanwhile, Alliance, they're flexible with Snap. They're one of the old. Still
10
play Snap on the mid.
remaining.
Maybe there's some depth here, but probably I'm
5
just.
seconds remaining. PSG LGD.
Before, the way people kind of noted.
You might see some TA here now that she's Snap minus armor, TA, Hardar perhaps as well.
10 seconds
we might-
remaining. 5
I'm
seconds
not sure if they
remaining.
want.
Do well when they. At least they have the. Ban out a couple.
So, what kind of hero would you like to? I know they've been really.
PSG LGD's.
Behold the horn of Magnus.
We got the magnet.
One thing that I say is I want to see nothing to say on this here.
Of course. Staple.
Exactly.
Son of
If
his-
Ami plays Magnus, it's a
Alliance's turn to ban.
this guy. Even in a hard game, he makes Magnus work. Ami is more of yeah, I can carry with Magnus, go for that Echo State Blink. You're never gonna see me RP. I'm gonna RP once in 20 minutes because I'm too busy farming.
With Magnus Carry, they've been
10 seconds remaining.
often on the. So,
5
so long as the
seconds
boot
remaining.
threat is out of the pair, I'm pretty sure we'll.
Because there's also
PSG LGD's turn to ban.
they've comboed Mag with different. Got right. EAs, your jugs, you played a variety of heroes.
The centaur
10
pick coming out of
seconds
OI.
remaining.
Something that we do expect out of us.
5
rest
seconds
of the game.
remaining.
Play, we're bound out on the dragon. But centaur also hasn't had the greatest.
PSG LGD's turn to
Vanguard,
ban.
there's a little play just adapting to it. That they're trying to protect the shield.
Alliance's turn to
Lifesteal
ban.
ban. Try to make work so out. See if they opt. LGD, they're not real. They're more like
10 seconds remaining.
They do play a trade.
5 seconds remaining.
Carry from that they pair with the mine. But I don't think trade here because fire isn't the.
there's some synergy.
Alliances turn to pick. PSG LGD.
Winter Rival.
At least we won't see a Brood Mother last picked like in the first series.
Hey,
I don't know what.
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
Everyone likes it.
It's funny.
How do you leave it? Cuckoo was okay in the DPC.
10
wasn't the great
seconds remaining.
that Brood. That's why he was so about it. Man, when you
5
give him
seconds
the last
remaining.
pick and the game is free for a Brood.
So they pick up Winter Wyvern quite often. Very strong. You can accidentally group Cold Embrace up. They got more to.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't
that's
think
true.
we'll-
I've seen the heal talent. Holy, you have these heroes tower. They're
I think
full
it is.
HP. It's a little bit.
Alliances turn to
Was
pick.
the hero actually?
Oh my
They go
goodness.
for it.
These opposite ice and the fire are going head to head. That's pretty badass. Can I ask a new question to you? A lot of Faceless Void bans.
10
And
seconds.
that's very
10
strange because
seconds
Void has
remaining.
been okay, paired up with like a good
5
of damage,
seconds
like
remaining.
Enigma's Invoker with him and stuff like that, but is it really worth these bans? Where's this coming from?
He definitely is. First of all, Faceless Void is a hero that, in this meta of fighting, wanting your character, very, very well. You can always make these big. And he quite
PSG
pleasantly
LGD.
a lot of Centaurs and Urzas. He doesn't struggle versus these. If you can find a carry that has a good laning stage and can fight well with the team, that's a ban that you should always.
Combos up.
Yeah.
Vandalation has up. So
10 seconds remaining.
very good hero. Surprisingly
5
back.
seconds remaining.
Left Truth have him banned up. Well, Alliance actually that profit. We often the laning stage. Hiding there. Well, from P. Drafting their. Making it ambiguous. Like,
Yeah, this is pretty.
if they wanted to. Lena, nothing.
PSG LGD.
Morphling.
I like that they went for more here just because usually Go Baby is a very high pressure carry. He from and if they went for a more
10
late game
seconds
or
remaining.
they wouldn't
5
necessarily be
seconds
able.
remaining.
Blizzard, I've never been in a fight. Maybe you've never been in a fight, Effie, have you?
No, I haven't.
I know that you're a brawler. Lion constantly
Oh.
dancing on the other side. If you were facing down a dude in a back alley behind a bar and he just starts
Something that I do very
starts dancing, is that threatening to you, or would you just
Run.
the dancing point? Death Prophet does it too. I mean, that's a Chad move. There she goes right now.
Alliances turn to
Turn
ban.
and run.
I'm so glad you're here to ask the real questions.
Thank you. Thank you. Just trying to keep it, half of the chat that's watching, they're very smart. They're here for the major. They're here for the analysts. The other half are 12-year-olds, and that's what I'm here for. Thank you, boys.
12-year-olds?
Hands
10
up in the
seconds
chat,
remaining.
you dumbos. All right, anyway. So, we
5
still have 2
seconds
bands coming out
remaining.
here. Anything sticking out that is soup meta right now? Oh, Mars is banned first.
LGD's turn
Back
to
to
ban.
you guys.
He tried to be smart for us. Go back to the 12-year-old joke.
What's your next 12-year-old joke? We want to hear it.
Alliance's
What
turn
about
to
Nick's
ban.
Assassin Flags?
Hey, look, Spectre's banned out. Interesting, but yeah, Nyx Assassin, and we saw a last pick Nyx last time, but it didn't work out. It was a
well,
bait.
It's not going to show up, right? Because LGD needs.
I'm aware of the rules.
I really like the lean-up.
10 seconds remaining.
I didn't know. I thought maybe Nyx was a suggestion.
5
You like the Lena
seconds
ban?
remaining.
Yes, you were talking about that, Lizard.
The Nyx was already banned in the first. Leave that one go.
Oh yeah.
But I was just 18 slash. I didn't expect all
LGD's turn
Oh,
to
see, you took her down with you, you
I
idiot.
did my bad.
Nice work.
So they ban out Commander, which now for me put off my
10
Magnus more.
seconds remaining.
Kinda difficult,
Alliance's turn to pick.
but nothing to say has been on fire with that hero. Instead, they go with the hero Puck. That's great versus lane, but it does provide you with some insane team potential. My other point. There were 2 points here. Yeah,
10
good versus
seconds
Centaur
remaining.
Stampede, and also good.
It also plays them
5
very well,
seconds
like in
remaining.
Saw, whereas they held out the game time. Puck is
Doesn't need a lot.
pretty sad that we lost, but no, he's had a great performance here, but I do think that really don't like.
Rough and baby Stark left field. I don't think we're healing strats and just grab a jog, I guess, and roll in with Wyvern, with that Prophet's Siphon, with a healing ward, and have a whole.
They also have the aspect of see that come to mind.
There it
Choose
is.
your
Go
hero.
with Slark. Yeah, the Nico Baby Slark. That is the classic.
Just go with what you. First thing that you cough is. Talk about it when you.
That is probably my favorite pro player, and his real talk. I'm gonna say something that sounds more bad than it is, but they just like everyone has that meme about him being escaped from prison stuff, and Slark did escape
Slark
from
did
prison.
escape.
They're like literally the same dude almost,
Yeah.
meme style. I know he's not a real prison escapee, but
I've
fun.
known Nico Baby pubs and what had him mute 5 years ago, spamming this Clark boy in pubs even back then. Really skilled and very experienced. Overall, I haven't been too impressed with the hero itself. Good versus RP, Dark Pact, Fire Spirits. Looks like a pretty.
I'm really with Slark here also. Magnus, I don't.
all right. Well, the time is nearly upon us here. Effie, you're gonna have to choose a side for once. Constantly skirting the edge. I want to hear it. Just you.
You
Tell
want me
me
to
what
choose a
team.
side?
Choose a side.
I've been pretty clear throughout the tournament. He was LGD, so.
You can't keep avoiding it. I
I'm
won't.
not avoiding it.
Very well.
Just decided who my favorite team is.
We'll see if she is able to finally choose a side
Oh
after
my
this
God.
game. But it is the long-awaited match. Alliance has a lot to prove. LGD has a lot to groove, and we'll throw it on over
Flax
to our.
is mad because I took his muffin at breakfast.
Shouldn't take my muffin. Put it over to the
Prepare
casters.
for
Thank you
battle.
very much.
PSG LGD versus Alliance, a hype matchup. I think everybody is looking towards this one for one of the most exciting of the day, for meat potential, and just to see which teams can prove it. Owen, what are you looking forward to?
I've got to agree with sort of. I'm looking forward to this Nico Baby Slark. You know, if he was ever going to prove anything for the team, this would be the carry for him to be on. So very excited to see what he's going to be able to pull off with the Slark. Because overall, I think it's a pretty good Slark game. I think Nico Baby is going to be feeling very confident here with that last pick.
Yeah, have we gotten any Slarks? I don't think we did get a single one. At least not that I saw.
No, I mean, if there would have been
right?
one. Yeah, hardly. It's not been a hero at all. I mean, what are the reasons for that? You know, what are the reasons why we haven't seen this hero being picked up?
As Brian has said, he just doesn't feel strong versus the meta carries at the moment. Also, his laning phase can just get punished very hard. So can definitely see the reasons why they went for it this game, as we do see PSG LGD going for more of a greedy type of style draft with the Snapfire Phoenix supports. We've seen them do this a lot of times, but we'll see. I'm really looking forward to see what Nico Baby can do. He's also versus the Magnus, so you can have some fun in the lane with the Pounce, versus the Skewer. So let's see what ends up happening right here at the start, because Alliance, this does look like a bread and butter Alliance lineup, which has been fitting the meta of the tournament for me. When I even saw Alliance at the DPC, they seemed like they were already prepared for this fast-paced meta that has been set here. So yeah, really looking forward to see what Limp can do on a very staple hero, his Death Prophet. Seen it so many times, and we did see PSG LGD, they reacted. You know, they saw this Death Prophet, they maybe were thinking to run this Magnus mid, they switch it up. They do pick up that puck, which has been super popular, but it is a puck into a Lion.
It is, so yeah, there's nothing to say. He's going to have to be very careful when Hanskin is around. And you do like that they swapped it, even though it does mean that bottom you have the mag against the Slark? Or is that not too bad for the I mean, how bad is this for the Magnus?
I think it's fine because there's a Wyvern, who is just traditionally a weaker laner. And I think the Magnus overall, like, you look at just base damage, Magnus' stats are just insane. So your lane is just really strong, and you're able to trade nicely because you're not really about right clicks anymore when you are playing this off lane. Seen so many times it's 2-0-2 build. Then you start going back for your Empower, perhaps at level 5. Sometimes maybe if you see a situation at level 4, you can get that point in Empower, but you're just able to trade so well, so effectively with a hero like Slark. Shockwave is an insane ability, let's be honest. The 9-second slow duration, pulling you back slightly. It's
look at this top.
0.9 seconds, sorry.
Hanskin.
Oh, Hanskin. He's getting aggro.
Fire. He's going to try for the deny to Roche. Oh, and he's got enough damage here from Roshan coming out. So a nice move here from White, in a sense, to make sure that Alliance don't get that first blood quite yet.
Hanskin's been incredibly impressive throughout the season, improved a lot since the last time around. His Lion in particular was one of the stronger ones that I had seen, so looking forward to what he's going to be able to do there. We also have to talk about Limp, this Death Prophet pick. I think this hero's been kind of slept on for me. Sure, we've seen a little bit more from the China region, but the silence in general is so strong, and Spirit Siphon is pretty much your ultimate, which could be really effective this game versus a hero like Morphling, but Morphling can also turn into Death Prophet and use Spirit Siphon against her, so we'll have to see all those fun mechanics as the game does progress.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely seeing Limp off to a very good start in the mid matchup. Yeah. 11 for 3 against the 6 for 0. You know, he's turned up ready to play here, Limp. Perfect start in the first few waves.
And Nothing to Say has been a beast of his own inside that mid lane. Just in the 1v1 matchup, he's been winning most of them, so Limp can butt right now. Top, we see the Morphling. I thought he might get a bit more pressure, but I guess because Innocence, the Phoenix drew the attention of the Lion out of the lane so much. We actually see Ame with 10 and 9 last hits right now to the Centaur only has 5 and 1. So S4 is getting out CS quite hard right now.
That's a very impressive start here for the Morphling. Down bottom, not as many denies, but a lot of last hits here from Nico Babies. They're going to get aggressive. The Skewer backs there onto FNG. Heal himself up a bit with the cold embrace, and all these creeps blocking him off though. It's going to mean that can he actually get away from this? He's over the cliffs. Another shockwave's out, dragging him back into the blast of Xingqiu. PSG LGD will finish him off, get the first blood.
I like the skill build too. Xingqiu has been one of the few players of Snapfire that I've seen him completely skip Little Shredder a lot of times, especially in this matchup when you're playing versus like the Cold Embrace. He's a big fan of maxing Scatterblast. He's a very greedy player, so I do like that they went for this approach with Magnus versus this weaker safe lane. Even though I say weaker, Nico Baby's still up to 19 last hits, but they are able to get that first blood. Puts the second point in the Scatterblast too, so it will be that high burst.
Yeah, I like this. I mean, and also on top of that, the fact that it's just not a lane duo where you shred them and your core's going to get a lot of right clicks in, right? Magnus, sure, he hits hard, but he's not really going to get the chance to trade right clicks that easy, especially against a slug. So it's just all about amping up that burst and having that potential to catch Alliance off guard and blow them up.
Yeah. it's really hard to trade back versus Snapfire when you have this build because you're more reliant about using it. So even just that little bit of attack speed slow, that little movement slow, these things add up when you have a hero like Magnus who can utilize Cookie at its maximum, pull them out of position, and then a Scatter Blast slow plus a Shockwave slow. There's a lot of chase potential in this lane. FNG has to be very cautious of his position.
Trying to get an aggressive onto Arme, but was just not gonna quite have the burst to take him down in the lane as long as he plays safe enough. And with the stick and the Morbid Mask, he's more than likely to remain at a decent enough HP. And he's going to try his best to push him back. Already Wine making these pulls, keeping the lane in good position for Arme to farm safely underneath his tower. Bottom, Nico Baby
up nicely too.
Not going to be able to find the chance to go for Xingqiu. Xingqiu's fine. And this mid lane, now soon the level 6 is going to be there for Limp. Probably after this creep wave. So now you've got to start looking out for that early pressure that Limp's going to put on and how Nothing to Say responds to it.
And see if we do have rotations coming in. This has been the big thing that's been staple of this tournament is 3-man collapse from the supports onto mid lane as soon as those ults come out. So let's see who makes the move first. Limp about to hit 6. Let's see if Hanskin looks to go toward that mid and push the tower pre-puck level 6. He's gonna run into Innocence. They're doing a lot of stacking on LGD. Makes sense too, of course, as we said, greedier type of drafts coming from them with the Magnus, the Morphling, and the 2 greedier supports as well. And Xingqiu will get caught out.
There we go. Yeah, this time around they can get on top of him a little too far forward, and Fabian not able to head over and help.
He's very far on the side. And here comes that move. You see FNG, after they get that kill, he starts to make the move toward mid. Hanskin gets a ward up, looking to collapse onto mid too. Limp, keeping his catapult alive. He's going to be able to bring down the enemy catapult too nicely. So they're going to have that extra siege wave plus exorcism to push this tower. LGD also making their move around mid, and as we said, look at Y in the meantime though. As he is going here, he's double stacking camps. So they have a triple stack hard camp and a triple or quad stack on this medium camp. He missed that one, so
this is going to be beautiful for PSG LGD's cause to clean up what they want to. And Nothing to Say on Y. I'm thinking about heading up into the triangle, but not quite look for that. So them still hunting for action here with the Dream Coil.
Catapult just dies.
Bottom lane. See him getting onto Fabian again. Good Splinter Blast from FNG slowing him down. He's able to skewer back underneath the tower, though. They won't finish him off this time.
I guess they couldn't make up a push with Limp in the mid lane. The catapult just walks into tower and dies when he goes invis, so not able to hit this tower almost at all here with that first one. And he's going to look to make a move early on. Level 7, Max Siphon. Looks he wants to make his way top. It is spotted. That ward is there. And the puck is going to start working on these huge stacks as we were talking about. But it's under vision. So Limp considering contesting.
Making it a lot harder for PSG LGD to really commit for them. Yeah, Limp's going to drop the ghost.
He's ulting it.
If he could take this away, this is going to be a big loss here for PSG LGD if they can't do anything about Limp getting these stacks with the exorcism. And I don't think they can. I mean, what do they do about this? And then they just have to let them have them.
Your draft is way too slow paced. Unless you bring the Magnus over as well, there's not really a way you can contest this. I really like this exorcism from Limp. It's a bit of a weird one. But as it finishes, he died
damage on the wall. I mean, my goodness, I don't think this could be going any better for Limp. With the amount that he's getting from the lane, from this aggressive movement into the jungle, and picking up a kill on the way.
And they're maximizing too. FNG takes the mid lane while Limp takes those stacks. So you may have not gotten tower pressure out of your exorcism, but you denied a lot of farm away from the side of PSG LGD. That puck, Nothing to Say, is going to be quite sad. Still, I do believe has, just a double stack on the other side. Xingqiu's been preparing, going for a third stack. So they do still have that option, but again, Alliance, they could be prepared to steal them again. As bottom rune does spawn, FNG, instant cold embrace.
They're going to just... They've got the burst to take him out. He's got backup coming in. They're trying to bring him down. FNG's off to the side. He's actually away. He's going to lift the jump with the Hex to stop from Askin. Out onto the 2 of them. Alliance going to be able to take both kills. They don't even lose their Wyvern. FNG making it out there thanks to the Stampede from S4. It's big moves continue to come out from Alliance with these early aggressive plays.
Such nice teamwork too. That Hex doesn't even get an extra auto attack off to finish off the Wyvern. Then he gets the 2-man impale. Great teamwork coming out from Alliances. S4, he's got his Vanguard done up top too. He was suffering a little bit versus the Morphling. Still seeing Ame have 25 denies, but 50 last hits on S4. He's happy. At bottom, Hanskin. Another.
Another catch. And he was thinking about dropping an RP, but of course with the Dart Pact available, it wasn't going to do anything. Jinq, he's also going to get chased down. It's going to be another kill, another stack here for Nico Baby. As he's got a double, 3 permanent stacks here already on the safe lane Slark. Alliance they're turning up with the heat turned up as well. This is some fast and furious Dota in the first 9 minutes from Alliance.
Great moves. Just really expecting everything, it seems like, from PSG LGD. They're playing this more greedy style here. They're contesting the stacks. They've lost 2 of their wards while going for them. We do see that both top vision was taken out from the side of PSG LGD, but great aggressive moves. Enabling your Slark, enabling your Death Prophet, Exorcism back up too, warding to block the camp. There's already preemptive sentry wards placed from PSG LGD, but the idea is there from Alliance so far, and it's working great here this early game.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Now, overall, Arme, not too far behind on his farm.
No, he's still doing great.
Of course, for those first few items before he can really turn up and do anything when Alliance are bringing these sort of fights. And everyone's going to be looked for here. 10-minute rune. Going to be a haste. Very nice here for Limp. The Exorcism good to go as well, so could try and put some pressure on mid. PSG LGD, they are relatively set up though for that sort of move. YN, nothing to say.
Tower is under
Hopping around, ready to clear the wave out, make it a little harder for Alliance to get that pressure in on them.
So nothing to say, he's gone for the Veil build this game. Works really well with his 2 supports, as well as we've mentioned. Greedy supports that take some time to kick in, but once they do have their ults, they're going to be really strong. That Veil is going to make it really hard for these team fights for Alliance. The burst potential onto Limp will be huge. However, Limp, he's got a haste rune. He's level 9. I like that he's gone for this Trides as this stat kind of build too, so he's a little bit more tanky so he can survive the initial onslaught. If he's able to just get his siphons out, he's very likely to live if they don't just 100-0 him. The PSG LGD, they're making the move as well. Level 6 on the Snapfire, not quite on the Phoenix. He'll need a kill to get that.
Dire's top tower is under
attack. Ready.
Open up onto base 4. Drop the Dream Core down straight away. They've got the kisses coming in from the side. The curse is going to be got nothing to say to hold that position. S4 will still go down. They'll get nothing to say in return. Lim charging forward here with the S4 Stampede as he got it off before he did go down. Egg comes out. Lim will cut it out to the side for now. They won't look to try and commit to take it down. Faith Beyond Dragon has came back with a shockwave, but it's not quite back in range of the Supernova. Turn the start onto Faith Beyond. Lim still continues to try and play as aggressive as possible. Nico Baby's looking for his target. Pounce is going to be off the mark. Won't quite catch on to Innocence. Having to use the Shadow Dance here. Still looking to get in. As the silence out onto the 2 of them. They're committing onto Jinq with the Dart Pack. They'll get the kill. The Lions, they'll be able to take down a second. The tower, though, will be held by PSG LGD.
Phoenix hits 6 because they get the kill on the Centaur. FNG almost gets the save, and Hanskin with that quick finger onto the puck will finish him off.
Tower is under attack.
Decent hold, but decent aggression still from Alliance. They're forcing so much reaction. And I do believe Nico Baby, he did get the permanent agi, right? Yeah, he's got 1 more. So he's at 4 stacks.
He got the hit him. Yeah.
Restored vitality.
He's going to be able to continue to build up his stats here with the Echo Saber into S and Y, making sure that he's completely battle ready. Faith Beyond's got the blink though, so next fight round, they will have that RP good to go.
Better form to now they have a better form to initiate rather than the puck needing to get out of position to initiate, as we saw there. That's why he got caught by the initial hex. S4 is just taking the tower. Retaliate.
Bottom tower is under
easily
attack.
dropping this one down. Don't know if they're going to be able to contest this one. Puck is still staying in the area, maybe calling for help. And S4 will give a little bit more respect to it, even though he has the backup of FNG. He's feeling a little bit scared to walk up. Stampede coming back up though, 5 seconds, starting to feel a bit better. Veil's gonna get pushed out, and PSG LGD, they don't want to let this one go down. Bringing Faith Beyond over, even Ame in the area farming the Ancients. They can't lose these tier 1s too early. Yeah, and losing these tier 1s is so important because they know it's greedy draft. Morphling needs time to be able to farm and catch up. If they start losing these towers too early, then they just have easy access points to get on top of Morphling, get deep wards down. Then they can just get hexes and silences from tree lines. There it is, S4 takes it out. PSG
top lane
spawn and top.
Hanskin, he's got the opening between the control of the line and the pounce of the Slark. There's no escape for Innocent. That's a kill and the tower.
Now they can get in. Now they can invade. Tower's dead. Mid tower's dead too. They can start getting that deep vision up that we were talking about to watch the Morphling's movements. So Ame probably just has to play on the bottom side of the map at this point because it's just going to be too scary. His jungle, his Ancients are going to be a bit tough. Ancients probably still okay, but we'll start to get pressured more here from Alliance soon. Limp already level 11. Yules is finished. Soon to have that level 2 exorcism online too for even more added pressure. As Hanskin's gonna have Blink Dagger, by the way. With all his excellent moves he's had this game, 1-0-5, he's about to have it done. That's gonna be huge versus this Puck, versus this Morphling. They're not gonna expect this that early.
No, for sure. I mean, that's the thing, right? You know, for PSG LGD, even though Arme is getting this far, it's not that easy of a morph game. A lot of things he's got to watch out for when he enters the battles.
Absolutely, and there's a save too, right? There's silences, there's hexes, there's so many different things that they do have to be careful of. As for now, starting to siege top, Cold Embrace, plus just retaliate onto the tower, starting to get sieged.
Dire's structures
taking a lot of objectives here. PSG LGD, at the best though, they are keeping that net worth difference as small as possible, making sure that they're still picking up the farm on their two main cores. They're going to try and hit Alliance with a smoke, see if they can catch Alliance from an angle that they won't quite expect. All ultimates to the ready, the full team fight combo ready to go here from PSG LGD.
Blink is coming out on the courier still for the Puck. It's about to be delivered. Nico Baby scouts them. They're going to get the grab.
The start, the opening silence, into the RP, but the curse comes out. That will stop the skewer back and therefore give the chance for Nico Baby to the side. Might be ready to even go back in on this alliance. They're already looking to head in onto Fabian. Fabian's going to step out. Put the egg out, but they'll be able to take it down immediately. As the Supernova falls, FNG keeping himself alive with the Cold Embrace. Will still get blasted down by Xingqiu with the Scatter Blast. Alliance, they're backing off. They're a little low at the moment. The buyback coming out straight away from Y as Alliance. They will respect that. Make sure they don't lose anything unnecessarily there.
And then we do see the power that I was mentioning earlier is, although you have Death Prophet, who pseudo has 2 ultimates, that just means that Morphling gets Spirit Siphoned. So you see Abe is able to zone 3 or 4 heroes away from himself just because he's Spirit Siphoned up. They can't focus fire the Morphling. But decent aggression still from Alliance, only losing their 5 position, forcing a buyback. And that was all the ults from LGD, and they can't even get a big kill when they initiated onto that Slark. Back toward their side, S4, he's going to finish his Blink over here, so multiple different forms of initiation on both sides. It's still going to be eyes on Hanskin for me. If he can get the grab, if he gets the instant disable on either the Puck or the Morphling, they could just delete the hero immediately inside the fight, so.
They've got to get these items to try and save him. I mean, we've got the 4 staff being worked upon by Xingqiu, so at least some way to try and separate Arme, or nothing to say from the burst combo that Alliance will bring.
He's got a mech too. I'm actually surprised how quick he was able to get it. 3 and 4 of this game. Bit of a looked like a slower start for him than usual, but still somehow finds this mech early on. So they have a save as well on their side, just like FNG has his built-in Cold Embrace. He's going to go toward that Holy Locket build too that we've been seeing popularized so much on this Wyvern, that level 10 talent once he gets it. Might be some damage issues. There's a lot of magic damage though that PSG LGD has set themselves up with. Top tower, Catapult still alive, S4 tanking with Retaliate. Feels like LGD needs a bit more time before they can fight again.
Yeah, I think, Arme, you look towards him. He's got to get that BKB done, ideally for PSG LGD before he chooses to actively get involved again.
So one of the first times I feel like I'm seeing a 3rd item, or kind of like a 2nd item, Aeon disc on the Puck. Nothing to say, really starting to feel the pressure of how much he's going to have to throw his body in to allow his Morphling and his Magnus to get the proper initiations on afterwards. He might just have to like suicide play into the back to find this Lion. Or he might just feel like they're always going to be under the vision themselves. They are playing versus Slark, so it can be difficult as Alliance continuing to set the tempo into the Roche Pit with level 2 Exorcism. Don't think PSG LGD is expecting this one. Don't think they're going to make it in time either.
No, not at all. They're still waiting back around Arme.
They get the scan.
Got to make moves very carefully around their Morphling.
They get the scan, but I don't think they're making it in time. It's under vision too. They're smoking, but they see this. Alliance is going to be ready for it. S4 is low.
They get the agency's going to be healed nicely up by the Cold Embrace. They're more than fine. As PSG LGD not able to make the hit in time.
Too quick from Alliance.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
PSG LGD still sort of posturing around mid. Unlikely to get anything going here as Alliance. They've split themselves back up. Nico Baby back to the safety of the bottom half of the map. Cleaning through the triangle as well, Alliance. So they'll happily, hit creeps as well here. Nico Baby, after the start he's had 4-0-1. He's going to have some solid scaling potential this game.
Yeah, and his next pickup is going to be that big one, right? He's got already the status resist. That's very nice versus the Puck versus the Magnus. The next item pickup he gets is going to be devastating. That Scotty versus the Morphling is going to be very strong. Ame, though, as we've said, quiet but steady. Top of that net worth still. Giving a lot of farm to Jingqiu. I've noticed this multiple times. Jingqiu's just taking farm away, even when the Morphling's coming toward him, he's taking it. They're really prioritizing this 4-step for him.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I mean, I think he knows, right? Ame knows that that force is going to save Ame's life against things such as the Pound. So very important for Jingqiu to get that ready as soon as possible, especially in this window where Ame is going to need that little bit longer of a time to get his next item, which actually it does forego the BKB, going for the Skadi. So feeling that maybe, you know, the rest of the team, the Force stuff, the cookies, that's going to be enough to sort of break him out the combos. Does definitely mean that vulnerability will be there, though. A lot of things, as we've said, can catch out this Morphling. He's going to have to play some perfect Dota, which of course he has done in the past.
And they do have ways to keep heroes inside. Like, they have the coil, they have the Magnus RP, so if he can stick on limp, that's going to reduce a lot of that healing effectiveness from the Spirit Siphon. So if he's able to get it at a good time, still can see LGD taking these fights in the next few moments, but there's still an Aegis, so it's a little bit of a tough window here, while Alliance can continue to press its advantage. Swinging around north bottom, another smoke, claiming the high ground. Hunt's going to place another deep ward, it looks like. And Jingqiu getting hunted.
Just found him out. They know he's in the trees, they drop a scan, and they're able to get in and collect themselves. Well, it should be another stack here for Nico, baby. Oh, the cookie! Oh, right, he's over the trees and he's away.
The Mac.
They don't quite have enough. Jingqiu, he's going to live this time round. The Mac enough to just burst heal him back to safety.
That is a Stampede used to go for that aggression. They will be able to finish off the tower, but on the other side too, PSG LGD, they're pushing mid, they're pushing top. They're getting space on the map. That 2k gold advantage down to 1k.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
This is PSG LGD definitely getting a better grip of the game after what was quite a fast opening here from Alliance top. See if we get the catch on to the Morphling. The Supernova's down. They push Nico Baby off to the side. And this commitment of the egg will be enough to stop Alliance from being able to continue off the back of that jump onto the Morph. If he can catch anyone out of this, we're going to have the TP gone for by Y. And with that, he's away. Nothing else to put it to an end. So good disengage there from PSG LGD as soon as the jump was made from Alliance.
See how fast that 4-staff was? Faith Beyond almost knew it was coming. It was instant to push the Morphling away, knowing that if they don't get the chain stun, Ame's likely to live in most of these. That's why we're seeing that big prioritization to give the farm to Jingqiu as well to get a secondary one. All these different displacement mechanics versus that Lion chain stun will be pretty huge. They're climbing it back 10 to 3, but Ame's farming.
Stuff as well.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and then you notice Y is also picking one up. I was wondering if maybe he goes greedy.
It's so strong this game.
Yep. Max Sunray too, for that heal, for that damage potential too. FNG, he's got the Holy Locket, he's got his max heal. Likely to get the talent next point at level 11. And that's going to be the Scotty pretty much done for the Morphling. So still very even game here, although Alliance been able to set the tempo.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
LGD's kept their cool. Still in Aegis for about 50 more seconds. Alliance looking to keep their advantage up by taking the high ground with it for a moment. Passing off sentries also to Nico Baby, so he's going to be able to get this D ward any second now.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
PSG LGD just leading the way into their jungle. And see if he can get the jump. He's going to show mid.
Is under attack.
FNG's watching from the side with the curse at the availability, but PSG LGD being very careful with their positioning, not to get caught on the wrong side of this mid lane, and they'll smoke up themselves. They want to try and catch Alliance by surprise.
Under attack.
They see S4.
Oh, jump straight away, Fabian. He's just going to drop the RP onto FNG, get themselves the guaranteed kill on the Wyvern. No messing around from PSG LGD. They'll take the kill.
That ward didn't get dewarded. The one that the Slark was standing on, he didn't know that it was still there because he was just playing in the area farming the neutral, so his Shadow Dance was obviously not on when he was farming. So they do get the quick easy jump, but it is 2 ults used. So Alliance, they're going to have FNG back up in about 15 seconds. Let's see if they try to make any move with him when he does respawn. Level 2 Finger online, 2 for Hunskin, and he gets a lens, so further cast range. But on the other side here too, we do have Puck now with the Dagon. So I have to watch out for Hunskin's positioning because he's in one-shot range now. A Dagon plus a combo, he's just gone. LGD just playing farm game. I'm just watching Jin-Q farm. Look at him top. He's just taking now a hard camp as well.
Yeah,
he's just been farming. He's just been he was at 38 last hits like what, 6 minutes ago. Now he's at 62. He's just running around the map getting all the space. LGD is weathering the storm.
No, they really are. And if you look at this game sort of in the long run, I mean, you know, what if this morph does get super stacked? You know, Ame has the arms to protect himself. You know, the E-blade to blow up the enemies. You know, once he has maybe the BKB still after the E-blade. Yeah, what are the odds of him sort of being able to be the bigger carry in the late game? Like, how do you fancy his chances against the scalability of Nico Baby?
It does look pretty good. He does have a little bit of an Empower as well, which, sure, you don't get cleave, but it's base damage, and Morphling loves base damage, any type of add-on. So Empower still will be useful, and he's got great team fight cores around him. Still going to be a lot up to initiation, though. I think this whole game is going to be that initiation, since there is a Lion, so you can just delete a hero. There's also a Puck on the other side, so you can just delete the Lion from the fights. So Lion still has to be careful, but LGD does have to be cautious as well with their positioning. Still very even.
Both teams just doing a solid job of making sure that their carry is pretty much never left alone. Always playing around the farming patterns of their position one. Full on with the protection, the backup ready to go.
Nico Baby's going to have his Scotty finished, and he's got a DD in the bottle. And the other thing I do want to mention is just this 4-staff thing that they've gone for. It makes a lot of sense, not only versus that line, but I know Slark, right? I know BSJ loves to hammer this one in, but Slark hates to play versus 4-staff. If he can't stick on targets, he can't do anything inside of the fights. They're just going to kite him a lot. He does have Stampede, though, and he does have Initiation. He does have Line, that hard disable, to be able to keep them in place. See if they can get it. And he offloads. Slowed down a lot, 10-4. It feels like it's been 10-3 or 9-3 throughout the last, like, 10+ minutes or so. LGD just dodging. It is paying off.
It really is. I think LGD is going to be very happy with the slowdown of the pace, considering how many fast moves Alliance were making at the start.
Agreed.
Yeah, this is the sort of stronghold we've seen PSG LGD get on some of these games where they haven't been having the most amazing laning stages. We've seen this sort of before.
Excellent Puck.
As top lane.
Double damage.
Trying to get the jump on nothing to say, but he falls down to the side. I'm going to try and punch back a bit at PSG LGD. So they'll burn through S4. Nico Baby still trying to find a target, but the orb's back up. Nothing to say is away. Yeah, getting the catch is definitely proving to get harder and harder for Alliance.
They just disengage immediately, too, on PSG LGD. They see the DD slot. They're like, all right, let's just wait till DD's over, keep farming our side, keep playing defensively with these 4-staffs. Wait till Ame says he's ready. Ame nearly has his Ethereal Blade done, too, after that Scotty. He's just been quietly farming and farming, sitting at a very high HP pool, too. Very important to point out. 2,000 HP. He's not sitting at some, like, 1,200 HP, 1 strength. No, he's keeping himself healthy. Just
They get the jump on white. They're going to get him out to the side. Is it enough? No, the Hex is there. Team keep him locked down. So the Skewer attempts to bump beyond. Dreamcore drop down onto S4, but the cold embrace is there from FNG. They'll heal him up for now. Nico Baby keeping his distance as PSG LGD get back up to the high ground. Just a death on the Phoenix here.
It's a big kill, though, because that's still the death from earlier where he bought back. Look how long his death timer is. So it is 50 seconds. They check the Roche. Not going to be super lucky. 50 seconds until it respawns. Phoenix will be back in time for it. And that does mean that Ame will get time to finish his E-Blade before the fight. 2k advantage now for LGD, even though they lose the fight. Lose one hero at least. Still splitting up and getting all the farm. Alliance really reliant about that quick Roche, but it's not going to spawn. And we do see now Jin-Q. They've gotten themselves another stun mechanic. He's bought himself the shard. Anything else from Alliance just yet? I don't see any. No. No, they spammed the smokes early game on the side of Alliance. I think LGD still have one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they still have one.
Are scanning.
And it's going to come at, as you say, this time where Roche it is now about to respawn. So it's going to be up it for Alliance. PSG LGD, nice they smoke up and head over. They could hit Alliance at a pretty good time here.
Puck coils back up in 1 second. Limp finds himself Arcane Rune, but as we said, initiation is going to be crucial in this game for both sides. Kisses to slow down.
Start opening up with the kisses. Yeah, start to split Alliance away from the pit.
They're dewarding the area now too on the side of PSG LGD. And there's the E-Blade done.
Oh.
Nico.
Grab on Nico Baby.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, Alliance, they're actually going to start hitting the Roche. They feel confident. They're more than happy for a fight to be taken their direction. They'll start to look to take down Roshan. Still got the Dream Coil and the RP. Dame is ready to fight.
Yeah. FNG finds himself a bit of a nice RNG item, gets himself a headband, so staying further out of the fight.
Middle tower is
Alliance, they're trying to wrap around it. They're coming in from the top. They've got the lead in. Again, 4-star gets away from Nico Baby. They get the skewer off onto Nico Baby. Try looking down. The Dark Pact and Shadow Dance are already on. Nico Baby having to reset a bit, but the Shadow Dance is going to head over. There's nothing to save the Enders because they'll put the Supernova. Stampede out from Esmeralda. They're going to commit to take down the egg. They'll be able to do so. LP's going to get locked down, but at the same time, the curse is there. FNG have been covered with the counterplay. Locks down Faith Pian as Alliance can turn, bring down the Magnus. They're trying to head for more here as the burst damage from Arme blows up Hansken. Buyback's coming out from PSG LGD. They know how important this fight is to win around the Roche respawn. They'll try and push Alliance away. Exorcism still up for a good bit of time. Arme, he's just going to walk in and start hitting Roche straight up. S4 comes in with a Who's-Dog. They've got the silence. Arme getting forced to the side. Fabian trying to find the skewer. What are you going to grab? Nothing to say. Jumps in with the burst onto FNG. They brought down the Wyvern. Buyback's coming out from both supports of Alliance.
Money changes hands.
Getting catch you, Nico Baby.
Be silent!
Seeing if he can maybe find the puck, but nothing to say. Deep into the trees. Resets back to base to get the mana up. Seeing both teams here committing their buybacks. They know how important it is to keep control of this potentially game-changing, game-defining second Roshan. They cannot let the opposition get it either way.
Important to point out, it wasn't Arcane Rune usage on the Death Prophet, so that Exorcism's going to come up a bit faster than maybe LGD will be ready for. They don't have coils for 8 seconds. RP cooldown for 60. Still have to play in the area.
Yeah, there's going to be these timings that will indeed favour Alliance. Alliance have the short ones as well, of course, with their control. The curse is back up as well for the next fight.
This is a scary situation to be in, though. It's a Morphling with a DD. So that can be one of those big difference makers. Your Death Prophet, who is very tanky, could just die instantly. And also, FNG is so important in these fights. If he dies again, that's going to be all the save mechanic gone for Alliance. And we've seen what LGD's going for. They're just looking for these lines. FNG and Hansken have to be so aware of their position.
They've got the BKB done on Nico Baby now as well. Okay. So he's going to be a lot harder to jump and won't be as reliant on the save of FNG. Let's get the Roshan. They know that they're going for it. They're going to want to head over. 10 seconds pretty much till RP is back up. Supernova is there, but they've got to make the jump soon. Getting the Spirits in, trying to slow this down. As begin to push Alliance away from this. S4, he's going to get hit by the corner brace, but he's going to help the pit. Fabian jumps with the skewer back. He's able to get the kill. He gets the Aegis. They'll get the heads up onto Arme. But Arme is able to pick up the rewards of Roger. She's still on ground. Fabian's going to be able to walk back and grab that. The curse will come out. Sure, the Phoenix's life has been lost. FNG, he's not getting out with a TP. The Stewart's there. TP's cancel as PSG LGD take a fight at the perfect time around Roche. Arme gets it. He gets the kill. He gets the Aegis. He gets the shot. Fabian, he's able to waltz in after it all and pick up the cheese on top of it. As PSG LGD bump themselves a significant lead now, 6k ahead of Alliance.
It's just the buff up Arme strat. Did you see how much damage he had there? He had plus 400. So hitting for 700 damage on the Morphling with the waveform attack targets. So it just waves through, one shots a couple heroes, hits the Roche 2 very quickly, and everything thrown on him. They throw the Lotus Orb to protect him from the silences. They reflect the Spirit Siphon too. Alliance can't contest into it, and it didn't have Exorcism. Now it's up, but now it's too late. LGD onto the high ground, 8k gold lead. Arme's a monster.
He really is. He's been playing the game silently. But yes, PSG, you can tell that they felt confident all along that this Morph, he is gonna come in with a big impact. Arme's farm on point for the opening 30 minutes or so. Now we've hit this stage. He's turning up. He's 4k ahead now of Nico Baby's slot. He is completely taking over the game, despite the fact they do have lockdown and control. It doesn't matter at this point because of how well PSG LGD as a team have itemized to make sure this Morphling pops off.
These Force Staffs are just not letting Slark play Slark. He's just getting completely danced around, and their big team fight is starting to pay off. Just dropping the ult around the pit. Alliance in a very difficult position now.
So hard to kill this Morph. BKB, Aegis. How on earth do you kill Arme? 2-0-4. He's had a perfect game so far.
And you know what the sad thing is too? They might just end up leaving this game on Alliance. If they don't end up getting the next big team fight somehow won, they might end up losing the game with Nico Baby on 6-0. Maybe he gets a couple kills on the supports, but when you see these kill scores, same thing for Limp. He's 3-0-4, but they're just dodging them in the fights. They're going for these backline supports every single time on the side of PSG LGD. Really recognizing what they got to go for, and who the main focus is just buff up the Ame strat. I believe this is Solo Crest now done too.
Pays off.
Yeah, definitely. Solo Crest done for Jin Q, so another buff up for him.
The setup in the Trees Alliance.
He's got an Aegis.
But for what? What can they do? Such a hard jump. Who are they going to go for? And with the Who Stomp, the whole team's pretty much here for PSG LGD. A focus down Jin Q, they will be able to take out the Snapfire. Over to the side, Lion's being caught. That's Hansken down. PSG LGD, they've got Arme just fighting strong here on the front lines, turning into the DP, using the Cypher to keep himself by. Nico Baby, he'll drop down the Death Shroud, but it will come to an end. S4 trying to get the jump back in onto Arme, but he can't have the Who Stomp. Into the trees, they're pushing in. RP's down, they'll be able to skew back the two of them. They will turn over towards Faith behind the Sunray Hill, come out from wide. Arme commits it onto S4. The curse will hold him back, but S4, he's already gone down. He played onto FNG as FNG trying to hide in the trees, but the burst from the two of them, Arme, nothing to say, takes him out. Nico Baby trying his best to work through the back lines. He's found why. They can't go make anything more here, Alliance, with 3 heroes down. PSG LGD, they take down the objective. They push on.
Exactly.
The 3 cores remaining alive. Arme, just, I mean, you saw how aggressive he was able to play. They're just right in the middle of it all. Alliance, they had to ignore him, but of course that just means at this point that he is able to get the objectives, get the kills. It's definitely seeing that Alliance just, how do they deal with this mob? Nico Baby, he's going to go for the aggressive jump in. A 4-star out the side will break Arme away. 10 seconds until BKB back up. Vapian, he's in with a skewer. They will be able to pop the Aegis there as they'll take down the Morphling that was, but the chain control down to Nico Baby. Nico Baby is popping the BKB. Hex will come out to control Arme. Nico Baby's got to run, but Arme, he's going to be in with a chase. Nico Baby's trying to hide in the trees, but the BKB comes to an end. They're jumping over the burst damage. The Death Shroud is giving him slight safety, but the kisses are coming in from the side. The nukes there from Arme. That's Nico Baby out of the game for 80. They'll take down S4 as well. There's both cores down, no buybacks. PSG LGD, they're able to run it down the bottom lane and now can look forwards to these high ground objectives. And with 2 heroes down, I don't think Alliance can push them back.
That might just be the game. They don't have slot for 70 seconds. They don't have Death Prophet ulti. This is exactly how LGD wants to take the fights. They just go for the supports. They're like, okay, kite the Death Prophet, kite the Slark, who cares? They would just aim for the There's nothing to say.
Nothing to say. He knows he has to burst straight in on the Hansken. Limp getting torn out of his face here with a big skewer coming through from Faith beyond. The BKB, it's not giving it any protection at all with the physical damage coming out, and they know they'll tap out. They cannot turn things around against this morph. It's too late. As GG is called. Game 1. After a confident, strong start from Alliance, it just didn't matter. The morph Arme getting all the space and the planning from PSG LGD, the strategy, they knew exactly what to do. With the Nico Baby Slark, but Slark is a hero, as you say. He has 7, 1, and 4. Great KDA, but just the hero conceptually, is it this why we've not really been seeing it? It's just something that the teams at the top, they know how to play against.
Absolutely, especially a team like PSG LGD. The itemization, as we've said multiple times, completely on point. Slark is about these long-duration team fights, but they just didn't give it to him. He may have tried to dance around and start hitting heroes, but they just force-stepped away, reset. He maybe killed like an egg or 2, but he was never getting onto these big cores, never getting onto Ame, who had a perfect game as this is just LGD in a nutshell from what we've seen lately throughout the group stage and everything here. They're patient. They're the one team that's still going for this more greedy type of style and able to execute it. This Morphling, Ame, he knows exactly what he needs to get away with in the game, and they throw all the buffs on him. That DD was, I wouldn't say like absolutely instrumental to them winning, but having a DD on a Morphling with an Empower, sitting for 750 damage in the fight.
Yeah, just fights taken at the perfect time. And of course, the quickfire question, game 2, are Alliance going to be taking any of these heroes away? Do you have to look at this Morph and say, well, we had a lot of things to control and potentially deal with him, but it still wasn't enough? Do we just have to get rid of the Ame Morphling?
It might just have to be, especially if they're going for a hero Death Prophet. Morphling just takes advantage of it by turning into him, as I believe we're going to be throwing it back to our beautiful panel.
Thank you very much. Sorry for keeping you waiting. We just had to get everybody into the ramen shop to break down everything that happened in the first game of this series, second series of the day. Obviously, a lot of unknown factors going into the day, Alliance being one of them, a team that made it straight into that bracket. They didn't have to go through wildcards. They didn't have to go through groups. Let's talk about everything that we actually did see. What do we think about the Slark? We already heard the casters talking about Slark just a little bit. What's your feeling on this hero?
Hero that doesn't win the games. That's just like my view of the hero. As they discussed, his score was amazing, 7-1 and 14 in the end, but they made his life miserable in the last couple of fights, understanding where everything, where the real threat comes from, and that's these two supports, Winter Wyvern plus a Lion. So Puck, I really love the itemization on him, goes for earlier Veil. Didn't have as much farm as the other mid laner, as the Death Prophet, but then managed to pop off. I believe that was Dagon 5 on top of it, just instantly goes on them, deletes them from the game, something that I've seen Pucks do so many times in these last couple of days.
I want to talk about something that Fogg was mentioning before it came back over to us, and he was just talking about bringing up patience and itemization on the side of LGD. And he's saying this is one of the few teams that we're still seeing play that more greedy style, which we did somewhat expect to see from China. They're able to do it in this game. They're able to make it bear fruit. And I feel like throughout the entirety of the beginning of the game with Alliance, they were just like, yeah, do whatever you want to do. They just kind of move away. And we're going to see that illustrated right now. Sin, what's your take on LGD's style in this first game?
I think they had a pretty good idea of what Alliance's lineup was meant to do, right? I think one of the problems Alliance face in this game is that they have a very high execution draft. I think any lineup that plays with Slark and has somewhat limited team fight and a relatively... Yeah, you have the DP for taking towers, but you don't have anything beyond Exorcism that's going to do that. And killing Roche, for example, compared to other lineups we've seen in this tournament that have a lot of minus armor or multiple heroes just destroying towers, or a carry that will do it on their own in front with Aegis, Alliance's lineup doesn't really work that way. So ultimately, if you manage to stall out the game without getting too far behind, which I think was the biggest accomplishment for LGD in this game, they got off to a pretty rough start. But they kept farming. They got 2 Force Staffs. They just made sure Ame had a good game. They have the natural buff above Empower of giving an extra item. And ultimately, when it comes down to it later on in the game, I just think this Alliance lineup I feel like they need to severely outplay LGD after 25 minutes to win this game.
What they want to do with the lineup, there's some synergy and some anti-synergy. You want to go in, burst people with Lion, and Death Prophet doesn't really do that much after the Exorcism. Slark really shines into these prolonged team fights where he goes in and out multiple times. Not that easy. You have E-Blade on Morph, you have Dagon 5 on Puck plus a Veil. I really love the itemization on Morph in this game, not going for that earlier E-Blade, just protecting himself, ended up with 0 deaths. Doesn't benefit too much from the Empower in terms of cleave, but still, as you mentioned, it's like an extra. It's an extra damage. He had, as Fogg pointed out, 700 damage during that the second Roche. He picks up the Aegis, picks up that free shard. I think second Roche, teams realized how strong it is. It's just game-breaking moment for most of the time. First Roshan, not really that important. You can't do too much, you can't threaten the high ground. But if you get that second Roche, where you get the shard on certain heroes like Ursa, even TA, is extremely powerful.
Yeah, I want to talk about some of the individual players right now. Ame, you brought up Lacoste before we even jumped into this game.
Yeah.
He's somebody who's looking more stable than he did earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Spring Ame. Yes. Oh, yes. The seasons analogy that was so terrible that I forgot about it already. But now I'm completely remembering it again. And the question is, are we going to be staying in this season, Or do you think there is a chance that we see a different Ahmed?
You never know. That's the beauty of this player. You never know what can happen in the next 30 minutes. He might become a different Ahmed. But jokes aside, he definitely looked much better. I remember some of his games during the first season when he was playing Monkey King, just pretty much always going for the same item build. This time around, I think he became also much better in terms of itemization, understanding what needs to be done in a particular situation, and just became overall more stable. Like, you can rely on Ahmed to carry the games for you.
Yeah, now, when we look at LGD as well, they obviously had a lot of time to spar, a lot of time to make sure that their Dota was as crisp as possible when they were playing in groups. That also means Alliance should have a lot of tape that, they can tear through and try to be slowing down LGD from their style. Is there anything in particular that you want to see Alliance target when we do get to the actual picks for game number 2?
I mean, you definitely, from Alliance's perspective, you definitely can't be surprised with what you played against, right? Like, there's nothing here that stands out as, oh, wow, LGD really threw a curveball in this one. They're playing massive team fight with a hyper carry. Nothing spectacular there. Alliance's lineup is very different. So I think they probably went into this series knowing that this was what they were going to be facing, and this was their idea. Like, we're going to pick strong lanes, we're going to pick skirmishers, we're going to try to play fast. The problem was that for them, PSG LGD did a good job at delaying losing towers. They lost the mid tower, they lost the top tier 1 tower, but apart from that, they had a pretty good... They did a pretty good delay play, basically, for long enough. So for Alliance in Game 2, I think either you double down and you try to play even faster, you pick like some really heavy pushers, not just DPL, or you have to be able to match that late game, because it will get there.
Playoffs, we can see the previous series not really off to a great start, not too many kills, everyone playing very cautiously because they know that all these small mistakes eventually gonna get punished. So we have like 5-6 kills in the first 10, even 15 minutes of the game. I want to see a bit more aggression coming out from the Alliance. If Timbersaw is available, allow that hands-can position for to roam around the map and get stuff done.
Yeah, I mean, playoffs now, we see all of these teams that have been waiting, and we also see what their take was on groups. And I feel like for Alliance, the question that I have for you, Sind, is do you think that what they came with, which, like you said, it was a little bit different, do you think that was basically their take on, okay, this is what we saw in groups, this is what we're expecting to see, no big surprises coming out from their opponents, okay, this is the answer that we think works, and maybe it didn't actually work? Is there a chance that we see that from some of these teams that have been waiting?
I don't know how much of this was tailored. Like, it's definitely different from what we've seen from most of the teams in groups, and I just wonder if that is because Alliance lacked that experience of playing in groups. Like, if they haven't, if they're maybe a little bit behind the development that we have right now. They obviously have their scrims, but this draft looks a lot like something they would play in the EU DPC, right?
Yes,
like, it's very similar.
Yeah.
So it feels a little bit outdated. They need to
know.
out-execute if they're going to play these lineups. I think this is a little bit too old, unfortunately.
Who did they scrim? Like, we have no information on this one. Maybe they were just screaming certain teams, certain regions, because, as you mentioned, like, there aren't too many different stuff coming out from the Alliance. We've seen some, like, something that I talked about at the previous panel, where different heroes are being played at the safe lane. You have these off-laners, Dragon Knight, Axe. What else is there? Something that was... Timbersaw, sure. I have something written down as well. Let me just try to find it out.
Book. That is
a
lot of notes.
It is a lot of notes. Like, I came prepared for this one. Let me just try to find it. Sometimes I can't even read my own writing. It's
like, you wrote an absolute...
Doom. Yeah, this is something that PSG LGD played the other day.
Yeah, and I do think it's really interesting you bring up, who were they scrimming? Who knows? It's one of those questions that, in the interviews, I would be really excited to hear from some of these squads. Who were you scrimming? They've all been here for, over 2 weeks now? All of the teams, I think, have been here for over 2 weeks. Even the teams that are knew that they were straight into the playoffs, even if they knew that they were straight in the upper bracket. And if you are just tuning in right now, the teams that we are watching all day today, they're in the upper bracket. So if you see your favorite team lose, they're not out of it yet. They're just going to be facing elimination next time that you see them play, and they're not going to have a moment to breathe for the rest of the tournament. But also, with how far they are in the upper bracket, they're already looking at pretty good placing if they are able to win this series, and we already saw that earlier too.
This is for
T1.
top 6.
Yes,
right?
yes. Yeah. And we already saw that with T1 because they were able to grab that top 6 with their victory, and wham bam, thank you ma'am, they're going straight to TI. And when we look at this series, we said Alliance definitely need to shut up their haters. The thing with LGD was they were really proving whether or not the region of China was going to be looking as strong as everybody thought that it was going to look getting here. Obviously, one series isn't going to be enough to outright say that, but after what we saw from Aster, we really are looking to LGD to see what Chinese Dota can do.
Coming up from the Chinese region that I worked for the last 4 or 5 months, I see the strength in it. PSG LGD also grew over the time. Like if you look at their players, like why in a sense he's not flashy. He gets the stuff done. Like you know that you're gonna have that stable position 5 coming out from him. Jinkyu on the other side is a bit more flashy player, like tends to do some fancy stuff, whether it's like Grimstroke, crushing the Aghanim Scepter in certain situations, playing the Skywrath Mage, a lot of different stuff coming on from him. He's really not playing these traditional position 4s. On the offlane, also Fate Beyond just gets the job done. Like he's super stable.
It's kind of, the way their support duo works is a bit reminiscent of what made Secret so good when they won multiple tournaments.
One greedy, one...
The distribution that they have in the team with who does what seems very well defined. And in this tournament, obviously Secret got knocked out in the wild cards. They felt like they lost a little bit of that identity here with making Puppy and Yapsor play together in this perfect tandem. But for this team, it looks really, really stable. Like you pointed out, Faith Beyond, I've been a fan of the guy since we started seeing him play with Wings.
He doesn't have bad games.
He is
it's
so
just
good.
like, you know, that he's gonna be at like top 4, top 5 in terms of the net worth. His spellcasting is always... I don't remember a game watching where I went like, wow, man, Fate Beyond, he really ruined this game for his team. I don't think I've saw that game in the last 4 or 5 months.
It does feel like if we're looking for a potential weak link for PSG LGD where it's most likely to go wrong, it is... I think we're still looking at Ame where teams could maybe target this team, like try to give Ame a bad start in the laning stage, try to like really get to him in the game. The other players have been playing super stable. Ame has stepped it up, has become more stable. But out of this roster, in the losses that they had in the group stage and the harder games they had, there were still moments of that, what is Ame doing? Like overextending, maybe making risky item choices. So maybe that is still something that both Alliance and future opponents should be looking at.
I believe it was Lacoste who said he's no longer allergic to BKB.
Yeah, like he gets defensive items nowadays. Because I remember during the first season playing Monkey King, refusing, like that's actually called refusing to buy a BKB because he has enough money, but some other items, some more shiny items that he wants to buy. So I've seen so many games on Monkey where he just like gets it as a 6th item BKB. It's like this is a professional Dota, you know. It was also back then, I believe, 10-second BKB, so you had that extra second. But I also want to talk about Nothing to Say, because he's been extremely improved compared to Season 1. He might be the highest MMR player in the world.
He is,
if I'm not mistaken. If you remember his game against like TA into Ember, he gets meld level 1 and just completely dominates that matchup, like surprises him with a meld minus 5 armor against Ember and completely shut him down. Pretty much they won the game off of that.
Very important to keep in mind. I want to go back to kind of what you said, though. If you want to see Alliance target Ame to give him that slow start, what is the best way for Alliance to do that with what you know about the team? Is there something that you have in mind? If you were the coach for Alliance and you were going to give them a call and tell them what to do, what would you tell them to do to target Ame?
I think there's a possibility of trying either some tri-lane shenanigans with S4 playing safe lane, or you can try to... Like, so what was their dual lane offlane this game? It was Centaur Lion, right? And they were playing against Morphling. I don't think Centaur Lion win that lane. I think you might have to put more emphasis on making sure that your lane is able to not necessarily find kills, but prevent the carry from hitting creeps. And that's one of the huge strengths of Morphling, right? That's why they picked it there, is that they see their lane matchup. They know, okay, this is relatively safe. You picked your 3 and 4 as the first 2 picks for Alliance this game, right? You picked Centaur Lion. So you're giving a lot of information away.
I've seen Hanskin playing a lot of Earth Spirit in the pub, so potentially, like, if you're playing that hero, that means either you want to practice, like, something in the lane, let's say Darkseer, which is a strong combination, something that the Alliance loves to play historically, the Darkseer, or maybe they want to get that self-sustainable offlaner and allow him to move around the map. So, something that I want to see in game.
Not to get too far ahead of myself, which we know that sometimes I tend to do.
Alliances turn to ban.
I think round 1 of the upper bracket is the most happen because you have 6 teams that
PSG LGD turn to ban.
Have, like, I don't know, they just seemed really evenly matched for a portion of
PSG LGD's turn to ban.
Now that we come in, teams adapt really to being on location. You can almost like kind of psych yourself out about the game, right? You get so long time to either over-prepare or there's a lot of traps, right? When you're trying to prepare for these series, maybe you have some...
And we'll see if that overthinking might be something that we can draft, because it's
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Welcome back to the draft panel as we are getting to pump you up with dope-ass discussions here. We got Lizard. Up right now for us, and of course MVP, very correct though. Called everything about last game, well done. Working to catch up here, Lizard. Well, Jesus Christ, look at the guns. Okay, well, we'll give you something a little less entertaining at here. Draft is already underway. Good lord.
I have to get my workout since.
5 seconds.
He's on a strict schedule. That's how you become the Iron Man. Here we are. Welcome to the draft. We have so much to talk about already. I'm just gonna let you guys have the floor here. Axe Marana, pretty cool setup there.
So far, we're seeing some out of LGD, and they haven't played it yet. The Axe is a hero they value a lot.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Nice flexibility.
Some RNG of...
There you go.
Too luck-oriented based here, but the Axe right now is in a real spot because of...
PSG LGD's turn
I really
to
like the
ban.
PSG LGD. They... Well, not when they're actually very flexible when it comes to win con. Nothing to say can be that Ame. Yeah, that's been...
10 seconds remaining.
What do you think of this AA? I'm glad that Alliance...
5 seconds remaining.
Chrono, follow-up, you can almost always... have 2 heroes right now that can kill almost anything. That's a really nice thing for Alliance. Now, what they like to see is some bans coming against. Haven't really made any. Wind Wyvern example is still. Maybe that's something that
PSG LGD's turn
also,
to ban.
Death Prophet is still in the pool for incredible death.
About a limp Lina. Guy, I'm not sure he's very happy about nothing to say being taking his #1 spot on the leaderboards. I think there's some, there's some pain there and there's some angst.
5 seconds remaining.
I would like to see some Lina with a faceless void. It obviously all depends on what.
There's an anime right. I wouldn't be for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if they went Prophet because it's very good against. Surprisingly.
Lions just banning out the Phoenix. Sacks. Well, you can attack because you have a follow-up. Paul. Heroes that... Something that Insania talks about. Long time ago, at least. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to have a hero direct counter to... You need a hero that builds the item that... Now that can...
PSG LGD's turn to pick. Drow Ranger.
Very interesting. They go for the draws so early.
Very early. Drow, popular in the Chinese region. We have seen her. She should.
10 seconds remaining.
There are definitely her. It's just
5 seconds remaining.
the last time that we saw LGD go for make a lot of sense. Also, they do give away their lanes. Now on the side of, you know that it's an off draw. So I would like to see some kind of protection coming out of the position. Abaddon?
Hard position 5s that are bowlers in the. I like them a lot. You also have Mirana, it would combo very well with Drow, a hero that isn't really popular at all in this tournament, but has been all the way throughout DPC and Elder type. Alliance going for this Shadow Demon makes me feel like it's a snatch pick way as well from PSG LGD, because Shadow Demon versus Void is also, you have that instant save versus Chronosphere. Basically, first two heroes
10
so
seconds
far,
remaining.
Shadow Demon.
5 seconds remaining.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Alliance's turn to pick.
Alliance a little bit lacking in catch. Oh, roller type to the extreme. It's all he does.
That is it. Lockets save lives. That's it.
You like this?
Whatever, man. I like Undying. Holy
10
Lock is the
seconds remaining.
item of the right, and seeing people creatively
5
pick
seconds remaining.
Lock, it is kind of fun. Great to see how these heroes evolve, you know. Big lane pusher, lane dominator, just running at people. Or like zombie medic type.
Zombie medic.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
I feel the same way as Slacks with the whatever. This Dying is for heroes. In my opinion, he's not necessarily
Alliance's turn to battle.
your carry, but it looks like they're going strong mid game. They want that Vanguard blink on Axe, and they're gonna draw in this Undying. So we definitely do not want to go into the late.
Alliance stepping it up a little bit. Tempo tiny.
10 seconds remaining.
I still would have rather had the Lina here because it would give you
5 seconds remaining.
clear it very easily, damage it.
PSG
Tiny and Lina, when you
LGD's turn to ban.
Limp, those two here, DK as
I quite like this
Very
Tony
comfortable.
actually. When you think of carry hero like that big cooldown with
10 seconds remaining.
Tiny does
Alliance's turn to ban.
Lena could have also fit that role, and it would have. I don't think.
as long as they set up Chrono to A every single, you can't fail that. If they fail it, they won't be getting any kills.
10 seconds
Also,
remaining.
Tiny, I know Europe have been considered
5
bad
seconds
in a
remaining.
couple of DPC seasons recently. They insist on Tiny,
PSG
one of the heroes
LGD's
that hasn't
turn
done
to ban.
really well here in the tournament. Also in the DPC season, EU DPC, Tiny has like 36% win rate, and he's one of the most big. What the hell?
I like Tiny. I think Tiny is a core hero. I don't think he wins that much on support, but as a core, he can
10
really have.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, definitely. If someone is as skilled as
It's a good
5
hero for
seconds
jumping.
remaining.
Jar Ranger for.
Alliance's
Can't go wrong with
turn to pick.
So far, I'm actually like Alliance's dropped a little. Although it pains me to say it, I just feel like the on the side of LGD has absolute not want to.
Throne, we've seen
10 seconds remaining.
Aghanim's. We have some depth.
5
Overall,
seconds remaining.
you like Tiny, I'm a Tiny hate.
LGD.
Admiral Tonka!
Oh, okay. I've actually seen a couple players play this hero on offlane as well. So this should be offlane.
Normally, I'm not that concerned Jar's ability.
10 seconds remaining.
You are terrified.
5 seconds
I would like
remaining.
to see it very, very high.
One hero that's Arc was in that last game. Another hero here that probably isn't. He's been nerfed, but gives you some. Won't see it. What they need is, like Mira said, it's high tempo.
I like Wex Invoker here.
For that one, that used to be the high tempo.
In this game, it would be a bit difficult. Possible, but very difficult to. They really found out their craft well with it. Both in the chrono, the both against the axe, you have one.
Razor!
This is, yeah, like why not? Just crush either one of these tiny or set up your game.
Also a lot of synergy. See how it goes? I like it.
You like the Razor?
I
You
like
like
the
PSG LGD or Alliance? Purely the draft.
Alliance's draft is better, but if LGD or Void.
We've seen more from the Drow Ranger. Still not sold at Tiny. I think way too hard in that mid.
Hater.
I'm just a hater, yeah. It's Limp Tiny. If anyone can make it work, it's him.
I've seen that Drow be able to turn games around really. Just like one misstep against the Drow and she could hard carry. A little worried about LGD's ability to quickly done, you know? I don't know. I feel like, is this one all about who gets the initiation first?
That's a very good point. They also have the bow. Like I said, there's one. I think they'd need to.
There's a Shadow Demon Bow versus the Axe. They have the same PSG LGD. Do not. It's a much more. Literally.
Very difficult. Yep. If anyone can LGD's.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of this is probably going to come down to the Razor. Good job, and he's able. Well, but okay, sorry, we bumped into Lizard's.
Look out for fallen rocks!
What are you doing, Lizard?
I'm dead.
He's gotta get tough. Do you think that just happens naturally? Alright, anyway. Well, we're gonna buff you guys up with some great Dota, so stick around while Lizard puts on a few more pounds, and we'll see right after Game 2.
So we see Lizard getting buff, and I feel like we're also going to have to see Alliance getting buffed up in this game, in particular the Void. To me, it looks like a pretty hard Void game, a pretty hard game for them to get off the ground. I feel like LGD has gotten themselves some very strong lanes, and they picked the Tiny and the Kunkka into Undying. Their Tombstone hitters are just missing it. I don't know how you feel about that, Owen, but...
No, that's true. Yeah, I think the Undying, even that they have picks after it, it still ended up looking pretty good for Innocence. So
yeah,
I think that these teams aren't going to be easy. There's definitely, as you say, going to be the pressure. They have got pretty good damage to throw into the Chrono. You know, there's a few ults here and there, the bow, the Ice Blast. But against some of these beefier heroes, you know, once Razor or Axe gets a bit of HP online, there definitely could be struggles for Alliance, especially in the brawls that you've got to imagine that PSG LGD are going to be bringing quite early this game.
Yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of when I see Shadow Demon and AA paired up as supports. You know, you're pretty much completely reliant on your cores making all the plays. Right now, we'll get Innocence trapped up for a moment here, but there's an Undying. The stun will connect with the Cold Feet. They've got nice damage. The Orb of Venom also coming into play. His own Orb of Venom is hurting him a lot. That's extra slow. He's gonna get brought down here. He will. Nice.
Very nicely done. There we go. That's one way to make that support duo work, is try and find yourself a first blood opportunity.
Use that Orb of Venom against him. That's the one thing about those SD illusions when you are playing versus a hero that picks up Oof early on. You just use it just to kill him inside of that just inside that early start. So good approach here from Alliance. Do feel like they need that to start off this game well versus this very quick early paced draft and very quick early paced aggression that's going to come out from PSG LGD. This Drow, this Razor, they're lane winners. The Razor in particular versus Tiny. I feel like a lot of this game will come down to Limp's performance, how much active moves he's able to make, and he's going to have a really tough start.
No, absolutely, and you have to draft like this against Limp Tiny, right? You can't let this man have a free lane because he will just straight up win the game. If Limp gets free farm mid, his Tiny, pretty much the best in the game, play from mid position. So yeah, this response from PSG LGD, very much respecting that, and as you said, just giving the chance to make sure that that doesn't come out from Limp, or at least has a much less likely probability of happening in the other game.
I'm surprised they went for the Kunkka offlane too. I've seen S4 doing it a bunch in pubs, but into the Undying, that's the thing that keeps standing out for me. As top, FNG, he's gonna live.
Not quite. Maybe Jin-Q might be in trouble. He's still got a leap left. There's a leap left, so manages to break himself away from Nico, baby.
Nicely done. FNG has the extra regen too, has the salve to keep himself topped off. He needs to keep topped off too. There's a lot of pressure that comes out between this Axe and Mirana. We've seen so many times these Axes just dominate lanes. Yeah, I'm mostly keeping my eyes on bottom, seeing what Innocence can do, because I feel like as soon as they hit level 2, S4 or Hanskin are just dead. They might even just do it right here. Innocence hits 2.
Yeah, what?
Team's down.
I mean, the money shot won't quite catch onto S4, but still, this harassment from the Undying alone it's going to be very annoying, and not even able to get the gold out of this. It might turn towards Hanskin instead, but Innocence quite fine with the body blocks. He can't. Hanskin manages to get out of there. But yeah, you're seeing that potential from the safe lane duo.
Yeah, just S4 can't approach creep wave. That's the biggest scare for me. As soon as you start just getting 1 or 2 decays onto you, the Drow's damage just hurts too much. It's such a low HP pool that each one of those hits hurts more than they normally would because of that. As Ame, level 3 now, so he's got 2 points inside those Frost Hours for the chase. So if this lane starts to push forward too much into LGD's favor, onto their side, that's where it gets scary for Alliance. If Alliance has the positioning here, it's not so bad, but the fact that it's not pushing in, this is where you're going to have to watch S4. The damage will just start to ramp up from these right clicks, and you don't really care too much about Tidebringer. You have so much armor on Drow.
They're going to try and get a hit on with the torrent, but you know, more than fine here. Ame still has charges, Fairy Fire. Won't be able to burst him. Do get the extra connection there with the Shadow.
They got the fist.
They got the fist. Enough. Hansken. He did. He was able to find the last one. The 5 stacks there. Hansken getting a huge kill there. Of course, with that insane burst damage that he was was able to build up there. Ame was trying the best with the side steps, but Hansken just landing it every time.
He walked back into that last one too. I don't think he expects it to be that much damage, but it was a level 3 Shadow Demon that just got hit, so he will go Suicide Tower, refill. Nice moves down bottom. Did not expect him to get the drop kill like that.
I don't think Ame did either. Yeah,
no.
Can't underestimate that huge burst there. Move from the 5th stack.
Mid lane, still not doing so bad. Limp, I think he's doing pretty decent considering the matchup versus a Razor.
For sure. I mean, you've got to imagine that even though the map was hard, Limp's probably played Tiny against Razor quite a few times. I would imagine a lot of players, pubs, pro games, do pick the Razor against his Tiny, who's been in this situation many times before.
Up top, FNG, arrow connects. He's looking dead.
Now bottom again! Hansken!
Get the stack!
He does it again! Yeah, he gets it with these stacks. He's crushing it down here. He's going to be able to get Innocence as well. Stacks are upon him. There it is. Boom. He is crushing this one, and he needs to as well. We saw how tough of a start S4 was having on the first sort of few minutes of waves. Hansken, he's just completely compensated for that. These kills that he's getting and the pressure he's putting onto Ame, that's massive. Now Ame's having no start at all now. It's such a slow beginning here for the Drow because these back-to-back deaths from the Shadow Demon.
I love watching aggressive Shadow Demons that play like that. That was such good moves from Hanskin.
Gold is a great conductor.
We're now completely caught up, 7-2 after as well. Gonna bring a health shortly. Top still, Faith Beyond able to put a lot of pressure here already. His ring of health, his Vanguard's pretty much done. They have earned charges too.
My credit.
Now with these deaths on PSG LGD, it's just no longer as easy as it was, to sort of play as aggressive as the two want to.
Yeah, Ame's now level 3. Undying is higher level than him, and S4's about to hit level 5. So that entire lane that was looking really strong for the Drow, just completely gone because of Hanskin's play. And he's even going back and stacking now. Yeah, Hanskin's on fire right now. 4-1, all 4 kills going for him.
Nice 4. Just step up there, take a hit or so from the tower, but you can see Ame being very careful with his position now, not chasing any of these heroes, making sure that he keeps close to the creeps. He knows Hanskin's going to be hunting for action, and in fact, if they can build up enough damage to take down this Undying, stacks of the Ame will step forward, will start to try and push back the 2 of them. This is safe, the wraparound's come in, it's a big one. Hanskin, he just goes straight for the TP out. Big brain play there from Hanskin as he saves himself in the rotation. S4 on the other hand will not quite be as lucky. Presence of the Razor, enough to push the 2 of them out of the lane. Top lane, trying to dive in, get the kill onto FNG. Nico Baby and Limp able to do anything in return. The Avalanche toss already been used. They're trying to stay on top of Faith. We'll have another round of the spells in a moment. Jinkyu, rather annoying here, dropping the turn down as well as that Battle Hunger. Limp taking heavy damage from the 2. Get in and close the gap for an extra round of the Avalanche toss, but it's not going to happen. It's PSG LGD, they'll get out, and Limp not quite able to punish them.
That was close. Zinkyu doing a good job of just poking him constantly so he can't get the secondary go at the combo. Bottom. Poisons.
He's trying to get the ground here. Three stacks. Will they get up to the 5th? One more from Hanskin, it'll do it. Hanskin again taking out Ame. Will lose his life for it, but just doing everything possible to make sure that this Drow barely gets a chance to hit the creeps down here. Just constant kills here from Hanskin onto Ame.
Innocence is going to be higher level than his Drow now at this point. Getting that kill onto the Shadow Demon afterwards. S4 now up to level 6. This Drow might just have to jungle.
Yeah, this lane does not seem an easy place to be when Hanskin's around.
Ports,
and yeah, look,
TTP's to Outpost. Yeah, I don't think he can go back down there at all. He'll just get chain chased out. This has been such a good performance from Hanskin. That's immediately toward mid.
See the rotation coming in. Look who's there, Hanskin, ready to help out. And Nico Baby as well. They're pretty much bringing the entirety of them. They do lose FNG on the way out. Nothing to say able to bring him down with him. Because the big kill going towards Alliance, taking out that mid.
Both carries unable to let... No. Void can't go near this. Axe unless he constantly has rotations from... Drow can't lane bottom unless he gets constant rotations from the Razor, so both gonna start jungling for some time. Alliance making the rotation down. They have a big creep wave to go for this tower. Innocence will use his mana, a bit lacking on the Tombstone mana, so I don't know if they'll want to fight down here if he doesn't have it. Let's see. It's up to the Razor. Razor's gonna TP mid, so I think they are just gonna sack the now. Innocence just grabbing XP.
Showing his face.
Yeah, he's just taking XP from the creep wave that's dying to the tower. Level 6 now on the Undying. So that tower will drop. Still 2k advantage here for PSG LGD. Even though the Drow was suffering so much, but with those 3 deaths, he's going to be able to jungle and catch back up. And the other 2 lanes did go that successful for them with the Axe and the Razor.
The mid lane, as you said, expected to have that lead. What we got?
He went for the deny. I thought he might get it. He tried to just smack it there. He's invis now, Moonlight Shadow. Looks like it's going to save his life also for it. S4 came hunting.
And do you like this from Nothing to Say this game? As the mid-brazer just rushing the hood to give him some sort of tank ability against that burst combo from Alliance's heroes?
Absolutely. I think it's one of the better items this game. When you're playing versus Tiny, it's always valuable to have the cloak. Having the raindrop is super nice, even versus AA. And versus Kunkka, honestly. Since it's an all-play Kunkka, it's more magic damage. FNG, the arrow. It hits.
Excellent arrow from Jinky. Lines it up perfectly. You can probably coming in. Nothing to say. A little bit low. Avalanche and toss over towards him. Treat not enough there. We've only just got the hood done.
He just got it.
Just made the difference. Yeah, it just came out.
Oh, he gets hit by the envenomed weapon when he's earned, so it's not going to heal him as much. Everyone watch out for those annoying ghoul assassins.
Seeing over towards the river. Ame, he's got the silence. S4's going to come over to try and help out. Here's Jinkyu continuing to commit onto the Shadow Demon. Will bring down Hanskin. Leap out to the side. Limp comes in with the combo. And nothing to say, but nothing to say. He's able to step out of there. Faith Brown pulling the attention away from Limp with the call. This X-Mon back into the boat combo, but it's not enough damage from Alliance. They can't quite blow up this axe. Faith Brown's able to walk out with still half his HP intact.
Oh, so close. S4 was inches from X marking the Drow. They would have been able to get the kill onto Ame there, but he's able to back up, go back to jungle. That was close to them getting that kill. And now, 2 times now it saves, nothing to say, so I think that's definitely the most reasonable purchase for him.
Absolutely. As long as he can live, get a good link off on the fights, you know, ideally onto the Void once he's jumped in with the Time Walk, then of course it's going to be hard for them to find the damage to kill these tanky heroes. We heard with the Vanguard on the Axe, and by the Axe Faith beyond pretty much having the Blink Dagger done, so his fast items that are coming out are going to make these fights even more disruptive. They're going to have to be very careful how they step in, as they've got good control, you know, call into the arrow to keep Alliance fighting underneath these things, such as the Tombstone and the multi-shot from the Drow Ranger.
I think we'll see a lot of the heroes on PSG LGD just tanking up a bit, not only because they're playing versus Tiny, but because of the whole idea of Alliance's draft is to lead a hero. That's when you see the AA, the Void be super successful. Same thing for your Kunkka. If these fights start getting to these drawn-out portions, Alliance is going to have a really hard time. Fighting into Tombstone, fighting into continuous resets and calls from the Axe, and just a Razor and Drow beating on them from a distance. 2K lead Faith Beyond, as you said, Blake is ready.
Everyone wants to go for a big jump here around the mid.
Level 3 Tombstone's about to be level 4.
There's the link will build up. S4 gets blown up on the start on damage. They drop the Demonic Purge on nothing to say to stop him from being able to charge in. And
look at Innocence go.
Innocence though, as he's just diving in underneath the tier 1 tower, ready to keep pushing on. They need extra backup coming in from Alliance. Nico Baby's TPing over. He'll turn over towards Innocence. Chrono's going to be dropped down as Nico Baby looks towards taking out Xingqiu as well. But the bashes coming in, it's enough. They bring down Xingqiu. Another jump, another call though from Faith Beyond as he's in straight on top of the face of F&G. They'll still come out on top of this fight here. PSG LGD taking down the 3 of them. Only losing the 2 supports themselves.
And Ame's chilling during all of it. He's just farming triangle. He's a team. How's it going? Okay, great. Good job with the 5v4 fight. If there's a Tombstone dropped in the fight and Alliance isn't all immediately hitting it with the SD and the AA included, which is not what you really want to be doing as your 2 supports, they have to just run. This Tombstone is going to be a huge problem for the triple melee cores.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Fallen rocks.
More Innocence. And he's going to walk into pretty much the entirety of Alliance there now. Planted the Ice Blast. They're going to have to set up onto nothing to say. They're trying to push them back with slow the multi-shot. Faith Beyond's making his way over. X marks there from S4, dragging nothing to say back. He'll get the link off, but he puts underneath the tower. Nothing to say. He's got the movement speed though to get away from it all. The poison's going to miss. I think he's going to be fine. He's going to be able to escape. They'll lose F&G under the tower. Nico Baby, he is there with the wraparound, so they will manage to catch nothing to say on his attempt to retreat. Which is a good job there. So that would have been very frustrating for Alliance there if he was able to walk away as low HP as he was. As nearly making it out from the complete combo they dropped on him.
That's a good way to start the fight too, right? And the Undying walks out of position, kill him before Tombstone is able to get dropped down, then you can win the fight, even without Chronosphere. And a great, typical contribution from your carry, just walking in and, 1 attack, getting a kill.
And Nico Baby's going to be happy with that. I mean, his farm's still on par with that, the top 2 on PSG LGD. Maelstrom into the SMY, nothing surprising about the build-up. So he's going to make good time on it. Even so, though, it's not an easy game, as you mentioned, for the Void. These fights are still going to favour PSG LGD at this stage of the game, considering the heroes and these early sort of build-up they have on all of their cores. These little tanky items that just make it hard really for Alliance to get in, get that jump before the fight kicks off, and obviously easier for PSG LGD to just start the action. Faith Beyond leading the charge yet again with the smoke, Blink Dagger at the ready. Seeing if they can find anyone in the triangle. Nico Baby playing it very safe, hidden in the trees behind this tier 1 tower. They won't catch him.
They don't quite have the blink yet on Limp, so he doesn't even make his way over with this smoke. He wants to finish the Blink Dagger. They're just going to get vision, maybe even block out the camps. Blocking out both camps to make sure that the Drow isn't just able to farm at that super fast pace. Because they know that the rest of PSG LGD, they're running as this 4-man unit. They're like, where's Ame? Gotta always be sure to slow that Drow Ranger down. We see the build from Nothing to Say was pointed out by Observer before. Sange, right after, with that hood, he is unbelievably tanky. Look at this, 2100 HP with the Ironwood Tree as well. So bursting him is gonna be a pretty tough option. They're gonna have to throw pretty much everything onto him.
Yeah, and even then, that's not going to feel too good, because then you're not going to have the tools to sort of deal with the other calls.
Yeah.
because of just how much, as you say, you are going to have to throw down to threaten the life of this Razor. It's not easy team fights for Alliance to take, and as the farming continues, they do only slip further behind. S4 will manage to take out this top tower. Alliance that setting up for smoke TP down bottom. They want to make a play with the Chronos Sphere back online from Nico Baby. They want to try and get Arme. Arme shows himself in the lane. Nice lined up very, very nicely there. Great angle from FNG, and with the jump from Limp, they'll get themselves the kill. Very quick and smooth move there from Alliance to punish Arme's position. Moonlight Shadow coming up with PSG LGD though. They still want to try and take the fight. It's going to be the jump from Faith Beyond. He's in with a call onto the Shadow Demon. His hands can will fall. Nico Baby trying to fight back. He has got the Chronosphere available. He's going to get caught out by the arrow. Will jump over to the side. Doesn't really want to drop the Chrono here as he knows there's going to be a lack of damage. He'll still drop it anyway just to save himself, but it has to be a Chrono and an escape. There's no way to take the fight right now. Ooh. Nearly getting the call there, but Nico Baby's CP done just in time. As Alliance, they just have to bail, as we're seeing. It's so hard for them to use the Chrono aggressively at this stage. PSG LGD's lineup, it's pretty terrifying here at 60 minutes.
Even the Undying is terrifying. Orbit Corrosion, so interesting here. You know, the Illusions want to apply Orbit Corrosion back on yourself when he's been disrupted, so switching it up a little bit. And look at this. Nico Baby, they're starting to realize, they're like, dude, this Tombstone is such a big issue. They have to time walk in to try to go for it, but then Nico Baby's like, oh my god, I have Flesh Golem on me. This amplified damage plus Corrosion. I need to run. I need to reset. He has to use Chronosphere in order to survive. So fight's still looking very difficult, and that's when Alliance, they have 5 versus 4. The Drow was dead before that fight started.
And it just, I mean, at what point is it going to take for us to see, you know, Nico Baby being able to turn up, drop the Chrono, and feel that he is doing damage? I feel like that's just, it's many items away on the Void until that point's going to come into play.
I absolutely agree. I feel like he has to get so many. That's why I was opening up the, you know, the panel thing. You know, Lizard was lifting some weights. Yeah. I felt like Nico Baby really needed to lift some weights to get to later stages because they're all so tanky. They have an excellent lineup to be able to deal with this Void, and there is damage to get inside that Chronosphere, but it all has to be lined up perfectly.
Find here, Big Beyond. Leading the charge perfectly the last few times. Yeah, they're on top of S4. Their backup coming in. TPs are coming over. But the call is Beyond there. There's no saving the Kunkka.
This Vessel's doing work as well on Jin-Q. That extra bit of damage versus a tanky hero like Kunkka. And then that makes him tanky too, as we've seen with Shovel, Vessel. He takes the damage talent though. Okay, noted Jin-Q, not taking the health talent this game. Even versus all this damage, doesn't care.
I'll take that.
And keeping themselves up at this 4K lead. Nico Baby's still farming, but he's really the only one farming at the moment.
Regeneration.
Nice for on Limp. I mean, Limp as well, understandably, you know, you play the Tiny because you want to jump and go. You want to blow up these heroes. And, you know, Limp, he's been able to do so for the most part, 1-1 and 5. It's just, he's 1-1-5 now. It's going to be very hard to get those kills and assists up anymore because of the sort of the same issues that Nico Baby's struggling with. You know, Limp, who is he actually looking at and saying, I can jump and blow up this hero? Even with the Ice Blast, some of these targets, they're just not going to die.
It has to be Drow in every single one of the fights. Like, if he catches an Undying, who cares? The Undying is now tanky enough at this point to survive the brunt of the force. Limp jumps forward, won't be able to get nothing to say. And yeah, that's why I was a bit surprised they went for this mid-Tiny into the Undying pick. 2 heroes that, as support, that really ruin Tiny for people there. It's Phoenix, or that ruin Tiny, is Phoenix and Undying. These 2 support heroes just make the game really difficult for you to play because you're slowed or you're just getting destroyed by Egg or Sunray or something along those lines. It always just ends up being a problem for these core Tinies. 6 lead, LGD, taking advantage of the map.
I mean, for the next fight as well, nothing to say. He's pretty much going to have his BKB done. We'll see bottom. Try and drop the Ice Blast in, but a quick jump to the side. Jin-Q's away.
And he's got a hood of his own, so he's ready. Even if he gets hit by that and the combo, he might still survive. That's why I was a bit surprised that he takes the damage talent rather than going for health, because that would give him even more survivability. But Jin-Q's a greedy player, so he always goes for those type of talents. We're seeing the Manta being built up by Faith Beyond, so extra scaling potential, extra damage that it feels like PSG LGD's gaining more and more strength. Sure, we're going into a Void, into these later kind of stages where Void loves to play, but the rest of his teammates, just like we said, they're not really getting that scale. The Tiny, the Kunkka.
And PSG LGD, they're just keeping their foot on the pedal. Another smoke up, Faith Beyond ready to look for a jump. Who's he going to grab? They'll go for FNG. Eliminate the threat of an Ice Blast.
His Hans? Is he gonna show his face? Ooh.
Well, yeah, they don't know he's here. Should be fine.
He's getting good farm on Hanskin. Didn't really point that out. The Aether Lens, the point booster. He's got Philosopher's Stone, so going straight for that Ags could be decent. Nothing amazing to break, though.
The prize is mine.
They blow up the Axe here.
Stone.
If they're an A Blast, I don't think so without A Blast. Let's see.
They're going to try. The boat coming down, but the backup's coming in, and indeed it's not quite enough. Vapia, he's just going to TP out right in front of them, but Limp does have toss available, so we'll put a stop to that. They will manage to kill Vapia. See if they lose any heroes for this, though, as S4 will be chased down by Anderson, CQ, and nothing to say as S4 can't get out. But they do get the kill. They are able to take him down. They'll get an off lane for an off lane, and whilst behind, that's a trade that Alliance will take.
God bless that Arcane Rune for Limp. If they didn't have that Arcane Rune, he's going to finish that TP right in front of them. That's top. Nico Baby will be okay. Do at least get the kill. Slow down Faith Beyond a little bit, but again, losing their Kunkka.
Still that 6k difference. Meanwhile, we've got Limp getting online after the blink. Yeah, the Echo Saber's done, so
yep.
Bit of a step up there to the burst damage that he will have to offer when he makes that jump.
Not bad, not bad. Hanskin also up to 1600 gold after point boost. He's gonna have an early Aghanims. That's gonna be nice, at least to maybe not to break anything in particular. Sure, versus like Storm Surge and something like that could be decent, but it's more just to hold these heroes in place and just extra little bits of damage where I feel like Alliance is gonna. A Blast to scout the Roach. Without Ame sneaking his way in there. Quietly catch back up and farm too. 0, 4, and 5, but he's almost tied with the Void in net worth. And now they will sneak their way into the pit. They know A Blast is down. Alliance won't make it in time. I don't know if they want to fight in that area either. That just gives Tombstone the best position. Yeah, Tombstone is way too hard to fight into this stage without a real way to kill it properly. Only two supports really can't do that. So yeah, I think they just give it up.
Well, mate, as you said, the target that they may have the possibility to burst is now going to have 2 lives ready for that next team fight, and making the focus of Alliance much more difficult in terms of target priority.
Looks like it's going to be Nico Baby versus the world. Nico Baby and Hanskin versus the world in particular. Since Hanskin, they got Axe done. He is quietly farming up on the side here. PSG LGD, though, comfortably now going to go for a tier 2.
This is what we always love to see when there's a Void in the game. We love to see the pressure on the bigger chronos. You know, that's what everyone's waiting for. Everyone's getting the popcorn out, ready for the incredible chronos or the incredible misses. And we'll see what Nico Baby pulls out, because as you say, it's got to be big. It's got to be some huge stuff here from the Nico Baby Void this game.
They're setting up for this. They want this fight. They got the tier 2 themselves top, instantly rotating over. Moonlight Shadow 2 for the speed. FNG. He's going to TP out. Nice next pickup for Nico Baby is going to be a pretty big one. The Scotty. Not versus any huge kind of heals. Sure, Soul Rip is one of the bigger ones, but versus 2 ranged carries. That could be really nice. Just the increased threat that it does do versus ranged. But PSG LGD, they TP bottom, force him away from the tier 2, and they immediately smoke. They see Nico Baby for a second. They want him. Ame's still in the area. Hanskin, that's his Axe. He's got it done.
There's such an impact in the early game at Hanskin. You know, he's been having the better of starts here. Let's see if this Axe timing is going to be enough to be that extra bit of power that Alliance need to threat PSG LGD in these situations. Nothing
it's not versus the best breaks, though.
Top of the BKB.
Like usually when we see these SD Ags, it's like you're versus like a Spectre or a PA where it's going to have this massive influence in the game. This one, it's a bit different. It's more just like some extra damage being thrown out. Maybe he goes for something like, I mean, I haven't seen it, but maybe he goes for something like a shard to be able to disengage from people, but nothing really good to defensively dispel off either. So it does feel like he's good. He's got this good farm. He's had this good impact early, but what's this Ags really going to do? Is it really going to be that impactful that they've been giving him this much priority of farm? Because it just feels like PSG LGD, they're getting more on the map with their 3 cores in comparison. It's, as we just threw the Void on the side of Alliance who's getting that big farm.
It'll be interesting to see what Nico Baby feels that he needs to get next after the Skadi. It's not a game where I think you can skip BKB, right? I don't think you need to buy the BKB this game. There's too many things that go through it, and you've got to go.
He has to go for more. I agree,
Yes,
100%.
So I guess it's probably going to be MKB or Butterfly.
Illusion!
And they're losing all their vision. I think MKB would probably be the likely one. And they're losing all their vision. I'm watching Innocence. They buy. This is a common thing we've seen in China when they get these early pace drafts. They buy an early gem. I really don't see any other region doing that still. And they're utilizing it perfectly here. There's only one ward on the map now for Alliance. Bottom. Limp.
Hanskin will be able to cut, nothing to say back, but he's in with the BKB and Fate Beyond is in with the jump. Gets the grab onto Hanskin. The Tombstone is going to be dropped down. Nico Baby and S4, they've got to get out of it. They've got to run. Limp's going to stay hidden in the trees. Yes. And S4 being chased, slowed down by the zombies. And also FNG, he steps in range of armor. Going to drop the chrono. Will catch nothing to say over towards the side. And now Bull to kill off the red. He's going to lose his life for it. I mean, they get a call with the chrono, but it's just not enough. 4 heroes dead on Alliance. As PSG LGD, it really doesn't matter. They lose 1 core. They're probably going to win most of these fights 4v5 anyway with the lead that they have.
Yeah, and now they get a gem of their own. They take away the gem from Alliance, at least inside that fight too. And it's S4, he's just getting chased the whole time from the 2 supports. Look at them, the Flesh Golem, that amp damage. And it's just a clean up there from PSG LGD. The Drow getting no attention on her whatsoever. Ame finally gets some relief. Gets the top net worth from the board and onto the high ground. No Chronosphere. How does Alliance fight back?
Middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, it's just been 2 solid games from Ame and the carry department. Now, game 1, his team was sort of having a tough time. Game 2, he was having a bit of a tough time at the beginning, but he has come back into this perfectly. Top net worth, showing exactly what needs to be done. Even when you do have these laning situations where he was dying, back-to-back deaths in lane, a complete recovery here from Ame.
His team knows how to enable him so well. They're just running around his 4, making constant plays. The Razor, we see nothing to say, just like last time. He's like the sacrifice a bit here. Sure, he's only got 3 deaths this time around, but just like Puck, he just runs in, tanks the brunt of the action, and then the Drow has freedom because there's no spells really up left from the side of Alliance. 12k gold lead now, feeling almost impossible for Alliance to fight back. Like you said, needing a massive chrono, but there's so many different elements now that they can't really go through. The BKB, the pipe, there's so many different tanky methods for PSG LGD to survive through. Faith Beyond has 2800 HP. He's still hanging on to a chip vest. If he had a bigger item, he'd be even stronger.
And Alliance, they're trying to see if they can maybe catch someone alone. But FNG, he's going to end up walking into a Razor. The rest of Alliance have to scatter back to base.
LGD too good.
Baby's nearly got the Skadi. He is queuing up the Satanic, so feeling that he wants to continue to build up for survivability. I mean, without that, it's such a tough position because honestly, what does he buy to try and rectify this game? He needs so many items. But obviously, going for the Satanic will still mean that the damage issues will be there. Even being able to live that longer in the fights, what really is going to be able to be achieved here by Alliance is just so hard against PSG LGD's items.
It is a nice dispel versus the Gust at the very least, but yeah, even then, it just still will feel like they won't have damage. Limp's game, sure, he's 2-1-6, but that's not what you want type of game. You need to be snowballing the hell out of the game so that you don't get to this position, or you just can't kill anybody. You can't even target the supports. It's an Undying with 1700 HP. It's a Marana with 1570 with a pipe. There's no targets for you to go for and just delete from the map. And Alliance, the long duration team fights will not benefit them in any situation.
Looking for the lead up here for a chrono. Maybe they can get sort of a quick grab on 1 or 2 of the squishy here in the back. They can start with a kill. Then we'll get the control onto Jingqiu. Jingqiu, can he actually get out? Moonlight Shadow, but Sentry is down. They'll kill off the Mirage.
The gem.
Dyer's
they can
middle
get back their
tower
gem.
is under attack.
Nice.
We can get anything more. It's Faith Beyond. He's out with the blink.
Dyer's
Nico Baby getting in aggressive with the
attack.
Time Warp. He's got the Arcane Rune. Nothing to say. He's ready with the wraparound already. Limp popping the BKB. Get himself away from Nothing to Say and will manage to do so just far enough. Limp will manage to get back here. It's the safety of the rest of his team.
They smoked out and got a pick in a kind of a weirder position, but the lanes were all pushed in completely. But by Faith Beyond, that Manta, that Shard, They have to address their lanes immediately on the side of Alliance, even after getting that kill, but at least they recover their gem. So they'll be able to get a bit more map control from that back.
A rolling stone.
15k lead though. It's a tough one here for Alliance.
Does not feel like that changed the state of the game much at all. PSG LGD smoked up, ready for the next fight. They're just hunting. They're not afraid of this at all from Alliance. CQ just gonna jump up to the high ground.
Yeah, get the vision, they're in with the core. The disruption will come out. Rat's gonna try and keep S4 safe, but Hans just gets run down by nothing to say. Coming in with the BKB. Transover takes out S4 as well. FNG's got the TP out, they've got the call back up. There's no escape for FNG. 3 kills straight up for PSG LGD. It is straight down the mid lane. They've got the creeps pushing it. If they want to, they can look to start poking at the base of Alliance, and with 3 heroes dead, they have to consider coming in with some just on his mid-rack, Scott.
Dire's middle
they can't fight.
Is under attack.
Nico Baby didn't get a chance to get anything as S4 is forced to buy back. They immediately retreat, and Roche is back up on the menu for them.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely necessary from Nico Baby. I guess feels that he can do so as well because he found the path. So we'll have that life steal to rely on, and yeah, needs something to amp up the damage. It's all resting on the shoulders of Nico Baby's potential to carry what is an immensely difficult game and difficult to carry. I mean, they're ready to control it. Faith Young is in with the jump. Armin's going to be able to start kicking out the damage from the sun. Nico Baby jumps in, but he's been arrowed. They've got the arrow into the silence. Nico Baby is going to go down. He jumps in and he's dead. I mean, usually not ever get anything off. They don't have buybacks. This is going to go for a minute on a match. PSG LGD, they'll be able to run it.
Well, this is where it kicks in perfectly. There is a glyph, so holds him back for a moment, but they have so much time. They're going to go right back in.
Yeah, they have so much time. Hanscan and FNG, they can't hold this back on their own. PSG LGD goes for their own in. It falls down. The Ancient exposed. Buyback is left Nico Baby. Alright. He's going to go for something huge. He's going to try and come in from the back. What it means he jumps in and gets silenced. They're ignoring the void. They're just hitting the Ancient. They're ending the game. GG is called as PSG LGD with an incredibly impressive second game. 2 games here back to back.